Just plug it in.
Gee, how about that? Guys, just pick it up.
I don't like this thing.
Welcome to the Nissan pregame drive. Nissan, premier partner of the Heisman Trophy.
Let's go get it! Let's go get it! Have fun tonight, man. Trust your eyes, trust your feet. Hit it coming forward. Put speed on them. Own that ball! Own that ball! Let's go get it! Every rep is your rep. You got me? Every rep is your rep. Go attack every rep! Go have fun, baby. Big night tonight. Trust your training, baby. Trust your training. Trust your training. Trust your training. All you do, all you got. Have fun, buddy. Love you, buddy. Love you too.
Mike Norvell, the key words. Let's go get it. Trust. Have fun. And here come the Noles. I'll tell you, it's been an interesting week here in New Orleans with this crowd. They sold out their allotment of 30,000 in no time. Feels more like they're playing in the Sugar Bowl at the end of the season than an opener. And it wasn't long ago that LSU was ready to take this field and claim a national championship, but so much has happened since. And now a new chapter to be written in the grand history of the Tigers. 20th game all-time that LSU has played at the Superdome. And this one comes with a lot of anticipation and questions to be answered. One of the main questions is who will be the new starting quarterback? And Katie's with the guy who has the answer.
Thanks, Tess. Coach Kelly, you've been keeping this decision close to the vest. Who are you going to start and why?
We're going to start Jaden Daniels. It was close. Either one of them can help us win a championship. Jaden's tempo a little bit maybe was the reason. But they're both really, really good.
As the new starting quarterback for the Tigers. This dome where Florida State won a national championship in '99, and LSU has had so much glory. 14-5 all time here, including a ring on their finger most recently. Ryan Fitzgerald to get our night started kicking away for the Noles. And this will bring out the penalty flag as he puts it out of bounds. Greg, it's been interesting to hear what everybody's had to say about Jaden Daniels. Mike Denbrock, the offensive coordinator, noted that Jaden didn't walk in the door and act like he was going to save this program. He simply came in and won the locker room over with the way he acted as a leader.
Yeah, and if you talk to the coaching staff, they said it took about 10 days for him to win the locker room, which is amazing, making a transition like that. This guy is very gifted, has an incredibly high ceiling. He's a natural athlete and is very accurate with the football when his feet are set. At his best, he can go alongside some of the best quarterbacks in college football, but he has been, at times, very inconsistent, and this staff is trying to make sure they get more highs than lows.
He has the All-American receiver, Keishawn Boutte, to the top of your screen. And this is what he can do at his best. The wheels for Jaden Daniels as he strides his way past midfield all the way to the 40-yard line. He goes for 25 yards on his first play as a Tiger.
And this is a great job, too. As you can see, the transfer, number 5, Jared Verse, kind of gets hung inside, loses contain, and Daniels, you see why he became the starting quarterback. His mobility as a runner is a big reason why he's in this position.
Personal foul, unnecessary roughness, late hit. Number 8, defense. 15-yard penalty to be added to the end of the run, automatic first down.
That's Renardo Green, the starting corner for Mike Norvell's team.
take a look at it. As you can see, Renardo Green right here, close. And he rips down the LSU wide receiver, Brian Thomas. You can see it's a good call by the officials. Keep your composure, especially early in the game.
So play 2 after the penalty in the long run comes from the 25-yard line. Empty look for Daniels. He's going to go to the end zone with it. And unable to come up with it is Kayshon Boutte. Boutte's back from the broken ankle, had 2 surgeries, missed spring practice, and now wears that famed number 7 jersey.
Yeah, ball just the tiniest bit underthrown, but one that Boutte would love to be able to reel in. He's one of the best wide receivers in America, preseason All-American. Gets both hands on it, and a good job, too, there in the back of the end zone by Akeem Dent, breaking up the play. Dent, the former corner, is slid inside to safety, but still showing off the cover ability against the outstanding wideout.
Tighter formation here on 2nd and 10 with Cole Taylor and Mason Taylor in as tight ends. Armani Goodwin, the running back. As Daniels keeps it, slithers free inside the 20, dodging Knowles and gets his way down to the 16-yard line. So a 9-yard gain for Jaden Daniels.
Big part of this offense, too. Over the last couple of years, they've gotten more and more one-dimensional. Brian Kelly and his offensive staff, they really want to put an emphasis on winning at the line of scrimmage. They've gone with a really big physical offensive line, and they're trying to get back. So trying to create the line of scrimmage advantages that LSU had forever in the 2000s.
They're down and 1. First and goal for the Tigers. Armani Goodwin on the carry. He's been dealing with some injuries. Last year was a true freshman. Saw time in 6 games. Will get a good amount of work tonight as he goes ahead for 9.
And they'll roll a bunch of different running backs. John Emery has been suspended for the first 2 weeks, but he'll likely be the starter in week 3 when he returns. But you'll see Goodwin. You'll see the transfer from Penn State, Noah Kane. See Josh Williams, and occasionally you'll see Nick Demas. So they'll have a bunch of backs involved in the run game.
Boutte's to the top of your screen. Not much there, but the extra effort from Goodwin gets him inside the 5-yard line.
I'm LSU. I'm just continuing to challenge this Florida State defensive line. Strength of this defense is in the middle. Their 2 defensive tackles, Robert Cooper and Fabian Lovett. Their 2 defensive tackles inside are excellent, all ACC players. And if they don't win that battle up front in the middle, it's going to be a tough night for the Seminoles defense.
Josh Williams comes in as the running back. He's more the pass protector. That's a bad snap. Daniels all the way back at the 19. And keep in mind, Garrett Dellinger is the new starting center. It's his first time playing center, and he did have some issues in fall camp snapping the ball.
Yeah, this one's way off the mark. As you can see, throws it way to the right. Daniels can't even get a hand on it. And now they're way behind the sticks. But this has been something that has been problematic for LSU's offensive line all fall camp. Brian Kelly has been hard on Garrett Dellinger. He understands it's a challenge, but those are the things that just absolutely can't happen, especially as you're knocking on the door on the 5-yard line.
So it goes for a loss of 14. This is 3rd and goal from the 19-yard line. Daniels extending the play, and then the pressure comes in from DeLoach. Kalen DeLoach with an outstanding play on 3rd and goal.
Great job by Kalen DeLoach, just tracking over the top. He's spying Daniels. He understands, hey, I am responsible for the quarterback if he breaks contain. He recognizes it, he falls back, and he closes quickly to force the field goal attempt. Excellent play by the linebacker.
LSU kicker Cade York is off to the NFL. He was one of the all-time greats. Damian Ramos on to attempt his first college field goal. It comes from 36 yards out. And that's got to feel good for the redshirt freshman from Baltimore. Tigers take it, come down the field. A bad snap backs them up. They settle for 3. Back here in the Big Easy, view from AT&T 5G Skycam. Don't forget to check out the AT&T 5G Sky Cast that's streaming live on ESPN3 and available on the ESPN app. 10th all-time meeting between Florida State and LSU. They haven't played since '91. Seven-yard field goal officially in the books for Ramos. That's Sam McCall. He's the true freshman, big-time five-star recruit. Expected to be their next go-to wide receiver of the future for now. He's getting reps as a return man on specials. As the Noles will trot out Jordan Travis, 14th career start. First year, as we told you, where he's got things just on his terms. Remember, James Blackman was here a couple years ago as the returning starter, and then Mackenzie Milton, and just his presence was so big, and now Jordan Travis, he is the man.
There have been moments, too, where he's just on the cusp of stardom. If you watch him against Miami last year, some of the moments, he's had some great games. He's also had a few games in which he's been a little banged up. So here, now it's his show, it's his team. He's as confident as he's ever been.
And sprint left to open up the game. And then the pressure gets to him as he is taken down by B.J. Ojulari, who's a preseason All-America pick for the Tigers.
Great job on the backside by Ojulari, chasing that down on the sprint left. Travis has to understand, though, has to have that internal clock knowing the pass rush is coming.
They go with tempo. As they line up right away, you see the big body on the bottom of your screen there is Johnny Wilson. He's the 6'7" wide receiver, the transfer from Arizona State as well. This is Ward trying to find something. Trayshawn Ward, who last week went for 127 yards against an overmatched Duquesne team.
A big part of this game is really going to be determined along the line of scrimmage. Florida State's offensive line mixing in some new pieces. Played decent last week, but they're far from a mauling group, and they're going against one of the best defensive lines in the SEC with All-Americans Mason Smith and Ojulari on the edge.
3rd down and 7. Travis over the middle, and he will get that complete for a first down as he goes ahead for 12 yards. That was Cameron McDonald, the big 6'4" tight end who was injured for much of fall camp, but a veteran who comes up with a conversion.
If you talk to the offensive staff for Florida State, they were a little concerned early in the game because they weren't sure what structure LSU was going to be in defensively. Matt House, the new defensive coordinator, runs a lot of different looks, so it's going to be a feeling out process early.
Travis spins, sprint right, back against the grain, and gets it complete, and that is the aforementioned Johnny Wilson. And boy, oh boy, if he gets going, watch out. 6'7", 235.
He is a beast on the perimeter. He's got length, he's got strength, he's 235 pounds, but he runs like a smaller wide receiver. Has been a little inconsistent with his hands, but if he can get that part of his game ironed out, sky's the limit.
21-yard reception as the Noles cross midfield. Stay on the ground with Ward. He catches a seam. Trayshawn Ward. Flag is down back at the 37-yard line as Jay Ward made the tackle. We'll see if they walk this back. Big 12 officiating crew for this game.
Holding, number 75. Offense, 10-yard penalty from the previous spot. Still first down.
That's Dylan Gibbons, who actually played for Brian Kelly at Notre Dame. He was there for 4 years, then transferred to Florida State last year as a grad student.
And you're going to see 75 Gibbons. That left arm just hangs on a little bit too long as Ward is bursting through that B gap between the guard and the tackle. You got to be able to release it. It was a good initial surge, but you can't grab the jersey. The official will call it every single time.
Well, it wipes out the big run and makes for a 1st and 20. Travis is going to keep. Catches a block on the outside, and Jordan Travis with the fleet feet makes up for the penalty and goes ahead for 23 yards before Garner finally chased him down.
And this is really poorly from LSU's defense. Two defenders sliding inside, and Travis, nobody home there on the edge as he takes it for a big gain.
Quick to get to that line. LSU expected tempo against them, and that's what they're getting on this opening drive in terms of lining up and looking for the play call.
They're throwing a lot of formations at him so far, too.
So Philly, as he tries to muscle his way close to the 25-yard line. LT, Lawrence Toafili, who Coach Norvell has mentioned had such a strong fall camp and really becoming a more developed running back. They have a three-headed monster in that backfield, also talented.
Yeah, their running backs are probably the strength of this offensive team, and they have improved weapons on the perimeter. The offensive line's gotten better, quarterback's gotten better, but no groups touching the running backs right now. They are deep and talented.
2nd down and 6. This is going to be a struggle to get back to the line of scrimmage, as he was just gobbled up that time as Burns came in and made the tackle. He is their best communicator in that back end.
Mason Smith down on the field, and he was the one that made that play. One of the best defensive tackles in America. Hopefully he's okay.
He is an athletic monster at 300 pounds, and they think ready to be a breakout star, but he is down right now being attended to. We'll take a short break. Beautiful early evening here in New Orleans, and aerial coverage is provided by Goodyear, celebrating the challenge of road games everywhere. Are you ready for the road? Goodyear, more driven. Greg, this was an odd injury to Mason Smith moments ago. How it happened?
And you're going to see it. He totally blew up the play. He's celebrating at the end, jumps up. You see that left knee lands on it odd. It kind of tweaks inside, and he was helped off the field and is now in the medical tent. Man, you hate to see that for that young man. Hopefully he's okay. I know Katie will get us an update as soon as she can.
You saw a shot at number 92, Makai Wingo. He's the transfer from Mizzou. He was an SEC all-freshman, so he comes in to replace Smith. Meantime, it's 3rd and 10. Travis, pressure came off the edge. He escapes it for the moment, floats it downfield, but it's incomplete, beyond the grasp of Pokey Wilson. And now, after Mason Smith was just down for LSU, B.J. Ojulari is still down on the field here in New Orleans.
He's one of the best edge defenders. So 2 of the best players in the Southeastern Conference potentially banged up on consecutive plays, but it looks like Ojulari is going to be able to come off under his own power.
He's running off and occasionally lifting that left leg.
There's a good pressure there by Brooks off the edge, and you can see as Ojulari delivers shot. Just went down a little awkward and is kind of grabbing at that left knee, so hopefully he's okay.
So in comes Ryan Fitzgerald, who's already 2 for 2 this young season. This a 47-yard attempt for Fitzgerald. Had a good season a year ago for the Noles. And this is no good. So the miss from 47. A little concern now for the defensive line of LSU, as it's 3-zip Tigers here in the first quarter.
The Allstate Louisiana Kickoff on ABC is brought to you by Allstate, reminding you that football season is mayhem. And Louisiana Office of Tourism. Visit louisianatravel.com.
Great memories for these 2 programs in this place, from Coach Bowden back in '99 right through what happened only 965 days ago when LSU was on top of the world. This is Goodwin out of the backfield, tried to spin free, but then he is gobbled up by Bethune. Katie, what can you tell us about the injuries on the LSU defensive line?
Some good and bad news, Tess. After spending some time in the medical tent, Mason Smith unfortunately came out, looked visibly upset. He gingerly walked himself to the locker room. He is now being evaluated. BJ Ojulari then entered the tent after he left it. He luckily came out, had that left knee taped up, gave a thumbs up. He's good to go.
Mason Smith. I mean, this is a guy, we were sitting there in Atlanta with Brian Kelly in SEC Media Days, and PK said that's the name everybody will be talking about by the end of the year. And he's back in the locker room. 2nd and 14. This is Mason Taylor. This is the true freshman tight end who they're raving about, the son of the legendary sack artist, the NFL Hall of Famer Jason Taylor.
Yeah, and a guy that they did not expect to be a huge playmaker for them this year, but he had such a great fall camp. They said, we just have to put him on the field. He's big, he's athletic, and he gives them something in the passing game the roster just didn't have. So he's been a surprise for the staff. It should be a good one here for the Bayou Bengals.
3rd down and 9. Jayden Daniels, the quarterback, his LSU debut.
Pressure look.
Pressure off the edge. Spins free for a moment, and then too much traffic as he just tries to get back to the line of scrimmage. Jamie Robinson was the first to get in there, and then Dennis Briggs cleaned things up for the Noles.
And this is just all-out pressure. Jayden Daniels started 30 football games. He has to understand when he doesn't have enough to block them. He knows those guys are picked up, but this guy off the edge is unblocked. You have to get rid of the football. It's got to come out immediately, or you have to immediately get outside contained. Just a poor job of recognition there from Jayden Daniels. The clock has to go off. You have to be decisive. And as a result, they're stopped to the 3 and out.
Dave Bramblett, who was Brian Kelly's punter at Notre Dame for 3 years, just booms one to Micah Pittman. Backs him all the way up, and then the coverage unit does their job at the 15-yard line. Brian Poley, the special teams coordinator, has got to be thrilled with that as Bramblett goes bombs away, and the coverage cleans things up. Well, tomorrow night, it is Dabo Swinney and number 4 Clemson taking on Georgia Tech. That is the Chick-fil-A kickoff game from Atlanta. Comes your way on ESPN at 8 Eastern. You can get the night started with college football countdown at 7 o'clock. Great defensive line at Clemson as well. Your expectations for the Tigers this year?
I think they're going to be really good. I mean, I think that defense is more athletic than they've been in recent years. I'm curious how they're going to replace the coordinators, but everything I've heard about their staff, everyone raves about the hires that Dabo Swinney made. So I think Clemson bounces back in a big way this year. I'm just most interested in who is going to be the quarterback. Is it Uiagalelei, or will it be the freshman down the road, Cade Klubnik?
Jordan Travis, and gives to Benson. Benson is tackled in the backfield that time by Greg Brooks, the transfer from Arkansas.
So far, it's been really interesting watching both offensive coordinator, of course, for Florida State being the head coach Mike Norvell, and then defensive coordinator for LSU Matt House. You're seeing a ton of different formations from Florida State, and then equally challenging with some of the looks that LSU's given them. There's guys all over the place in kind of unorthodox places with where they're lining up.
Second and 10. Travis just has to slide down. Good pursuit. And 3rd and long coming for the Noles as Desmond Little made the tackle for LSU.
I think this is an area, if you're LSU, you need to be really mindful of Jordan Travis's escapability. He almost always, when he escapes the pocket, he almost always escapes to his right. So it's going to be on number 11, Ali Gay, the outside edge defender on the end of the line of scrimmage. He's going to have to keep contained because Travis will try to break it to the right-hand side.
Well, Matt House, the new defensive coordinator for LSU, looking down into that play card, and instead it is McDonald right in the middle of Matt House's defense, finding a pocket, and Travis hits him for the first down. So 13 yards to Cameron McDonald, and that is his 2nd reception already tonight.
And a good job throwing into pressure. You saw the defender vacate, bring a late pressure. Green Dog. It's a great job by Travis, hitting the tight end over the middle on time and converting another 3rd down.
Travis, well protected. As he was trying to connect with Johnny Wilson, it's incomplete.
If you look at this receiver core for Florida State, you've referenced Johnny Wilson already, but he's not the only one. 4 transfers that have come in and have really improved the depth and the quality across the board. Micah Pittman coming down from Oregon has been excellent. Gives you a nice run after catch guy there in the slot. Deuce Span's a guy they're very excited about. You reference Wilson, his length is a problem. They have a lot of talented guys that they brought in the portal.
Whistles come in right at the snap. Looked like maybe a timeout was used by LSU.
Timeout of the half, 30 seconds late.
And that gives us an opportunity to check in with Kevin Nagandi in the studio. Good evening, Kev.
Good evening, Tess. Reminding our audience also we've got some baseball going on. Sunday night baseball on ESPN. Dodgers, Padres head-to-head. Great rivalry. And then speaking of rivalries, over on ESPN2, the showdown Kyrgios versus Medvedev as the U.S. Open continues. Back to you, Tess and Greg.
Just an awesome time of the year, isn't it? Called the Overlap. U.S. Open tennis, start of the college football season. I mean, from Thursday night onward, it's non-stop.
I'm proud that we've gotten through night 4, and I'm just so excited. Well, we've gotten to night 4. We haven't gotten through it just yet. But man, 5 straight days of college football in prime time has been just so much fun to consume. It's been a blast. And a lot of teams have made very impressive statements here in the last 48, 72 hours.
And Clemson and Georgia Tech still to come tomorrow night as they go with Pittman on the jet motion, and he gets out to the 36-yard line, so it'll be 3rd and about 4. Savion Jones came up with the tackle.
It's a good opportunity here. Mike Norvell, the play caller and head coach. You can utilize the athleticism of Jordan Travis. Give him a run pass option, but usually on the right hash with a right-handed quarterback, you wouldn't want to do that. So try to find a little one-on-one matchup. Maybe Pokey Wilson down here working against Mekhi Garner.
Spot on your screen, number 80. Play clock counting down. 3rd down. Travis. It's a shallow cross, gets it complete to Pittman. 2 for 2 on 3rd down on this drive is Florida State. You know what I like about Micah Pittman? We're sitting with the coaches yesterday. We're talking about what he does in the slot. They said, yeah, but he was the punisher of the week for the blocking. Punisher of the week, Micah Pittman.
I mean, he's built, though, man. I mean, he's built like a running back. I mean, he's not super long, but he's just put together a low center of gravity. And this wide receiver core as a whole, last week against Duquesne, they blocked their tails off, man. It was noticeable. And I know Mike Norvell was really proud of the effort.
Travis, play action, gonna wind it up, take a shot downfield, and far beyond the intended target, Malik McClain.
I like the try. There's a great job there defensively by Bernard Converse, number 24, staying over the top on that post. He had safety help, but the safety was held just ever so slightly with that play action fake, but Converse did an excellent job of staying on top of it, and the throw was way off the mark.
Bernard Converse, another transfer. He had started 47 games at Oklahoma State before coming over to LSU to be their starting corner. Much needed. There he is. They had some transfer erosion at that position. Trey Benson goes ahead for 7 yards.
It's so interesting as you look at this offensive plan. I mean, it's pretty amazing to me how much they've deviated from who they were last year. In 2nd and long situations, just running the football, get it back to 3rd and manageable. As you can see the big pop there at the end of the play.
I think that's what happens when your offensive line coach becomes your offensive coordinator.
I think you get
a little more willing for the run game.
Yeah, let's try the run, get it to 3rd and manageable.
3rd down and 3, and they will convert again as Travis is able to come up with the reception of Deuce Spann. He's a big-bodied transfer from Illinois. Goes 6'4", over 200 pounds.
You can see there's the offensive coordinator, Alex Atkins, does an amazing job in creating a relationship with the players. He's formerly with Will Healy at Charlotte, who's also a tremendous players coach. but he gets the most out of his guys because of the way he connects with them. I think he's a future head coach. I really believe that. Just an amazing human being.
Thrown to the outside to Span as he wiggles his way to the 45-yard line. Jay Ward was on him for the tackle. A veteran leader among the DBs for the Tigers.
And you talk to Alex Atkins, too. He's all fired up because he's like, man, us offensive line coaches, we're finally getting some opportunities. Yes. I mean, Mario Cristobal has, of course, been a head coach for a while, but with what Sam Pittman's done at Arkansas, Georgia State, Appalachian State, I mean, a bunch of offensive line coaches that are now head coaches, and I think it would make for a natural transition for Atkins if he ever gets that opportunity.
End of the first quarter, Florida State marching. A 10-play drive they're in the midst of. 3-zip LSU with the field goal they made. The All-State Louisiana kickoff returns after this message and a word from our ABC station. Taco Bell Lip Moss Student Section of the Year contest has returned. Celebrate Taco Bell provided 150 tickets to each school for students to attend tonight's game. Sold out game, the All-State Louisiana kickoff. Last time LSU had a regular season game in the Superdome, 2017 season opener. That was a win against BYU. But I will tell you this, and we've been here for days, the Florida State fans in this town this week.
They are not outnumbered, that's for sure. There are a lot of Seminoles.
Start the second quarter with a 2nd and 7. Ward trying to bounce it to the outside on that right side and was ridden out that time by Garner. So it'll be 3rd and short from there.
As you can see, Florida State has not fared great in getting off to a slightly slower start, but I'll say this, they've been moving the ball pretty well. Of course, they had the holding penalty that really disrupted their opening drive, but they've done a nice job of mixing run pass. I think Jordan Travis looks really comfortable, and they've involved most of their playmakers. I mean, just about everybody that they want involved in the plan has gotten a touch already through the first 16 minutes or so.
Greg, they're 3 for 3 on 3rd down on this drive. And there's another conversion as Travis takes it ahead on what was the 12th play of this drive, tackled by Jay Ward. So little by little, just moving the chain.
This would be a spot if I were Florida State. I'm going to try to take a shot. I want to throw it downfield. Fresh set of downs just inside the 40. And I want to go heavy play action, see if I can't throw a big post over the top. So keep an eye here if they try to get maybe a little bit aggressive and rock these LSU defenders to sleep.
Now the big guy's on the top of your screen, the 6'7" Johnny Wilson.
I'd try something like this, just a big post, and then one over the top. That's what I'd do off play action.
Instead, they go on the ground and driven back at the 39-yard line that time as Major Burns makes the tackle along with Ali Gay. So a loss of 2.
Right here, the MO so far from Florida State in 2nd and long situations. They've handed it off and tried to get half of it back on the ground. See if they break that now because they're behind the sticks by putting one in the air.
Ward tackled for a loss, and now a 2nd and 12. Reverse, flea flicker opportunity, downfield, and a touchdown, Pokey Wilson. Flag is down at the goal line as Razzle Dazzle lands it for the Noles.
Pass interference, number 2, defense. That penalty's decline. Result of play is a touchdown.
That was Garner who was trying to make up as he got sucked in and had a retreat back to Pokey Wilson, who has the 39-yard touchdown from Jordan Travis off the reverse flea flicker.
And there was the shot play, just a play late. A great execution there from the Noles.
What were we saying? Little by little, 14 plays, 4 for 4 on 3rd downs. And then you said the shot. Here was the shot, G-Man.
Here it comes off Little stretch, end around, flea flicker. Ball flutters just a hair, but Pokey brings it in. And the Seminoles are on the board, 7-3.
Dish mixed.
We're back in New Orleans where Florida State's Jordan Travis just found Ontario Wilson in the end zone. And guys, you mentioned it earlier on in the show. Micah Pittman, Deuce Spann, Johnny Wilson, all of these influx of transfers coming into the wide receiver room. Ontario Wilson was a little inconsistent a season ago. They sent a message by going out and bringing in a lot more talent. Iron sharpens iron. He needed to be reliable. He just proved it right there.
Did he ever, Katie? The most veteran of the wide receivers. This goes out of bounds as well.
And just such a cool look at how this action by Florida State affects the defense. Look at all this movement, okay? You have two defenders who are looking in the backfield. They see reverse. No. Flea flicker. Post over the top. Ball flutters just a little bit, which allowed the defender to catch up to the wide open Wilson, but it's understandable. You're going to say, well, that was a duck. When you catch the ball, flea flickers are the hardest throws to make because you catch the ball and you don't often always have the laces and you got to lose it quick. So it was a good throw and a great catch and an outstanding play call and design from the Florida State offensive staff.
Jaden Daniels, Noah Kane, the running back, and the Tigers back out there for their third drive. Daniels, for a moment, looked like he was going to escape things, and then Tatum Bethune, the transfer from UCF, is able to get him. Chick-fil-A impact players. What do you got, Greg?
There's some impact players everywhere on the field here for both of these teams. But let's go with Kayshon Boutte and Malik Neighbors, two outstanding wide receivers who haven't even done anything just yet tonight. And then defensively for LSU, told you earlier in the show, the strength of this defense is up the middle. These defensive tackles, both Cooper and Lovett, are as good as they come. They're big and they're physical, and they really clog things up in the middle and allow these athletic linebackers to flow freely over the top.
318 pounds to one side, 335 to the other. Quick strike over the middle to midfield to Brian Thomas. So right at the 50-yard line is Thomas, a 16-yard reception.
Get this passing game going a little bit. These wide receivers are way too dangerous to go an entire quarter without a reception. Prior to that play right there, the leading receiver on this team was Mason Taylor, and he had 5 yards receiving.
First down at midfield. Pressure off the edge. Daniels escapes it and then able to get to the 43-yard line. He has fleet feet, doesn't he? When he makes a decision to go, he is quick.
Definitely does. And right here, you see what they have. He can just really create. Talk to Brian Kelly. I didn't know this. I thought he was fast, but I didn't know he was as fast as Brian Kelly told us the other day. He said he clocked him at 21+ miles an hour. I mean, that is moving.
21.6 on the GPS system. That's a quarterback running that fast.
Cooking at quarterback.
Went for 8 yards there, 2nd and 2. Looks Kane's way, comes back to screen it up the other way to Neighbors in great pursuit. And then Neighbors somehow stays on his feet and lunges forward for a first down. Evan Knowles came up, looked like he had him, and then Malik Neighbors is able to give something extra.
Just a great second effort there. You referenced it. It looked like he was down. I thought his wrist was on the ground. But that was an excellent job there by Neighbors, and they are very excited about this young man. They say if not for Kayshon Boutte, this guy would be the #1 wide receiver in a heartbeat.
Could be the breakout star this year. Here's Kane, the transfer from Penn State. You mentioned it earlier. John Emery, who would be the starting running back, is suspended. He's out for the first 2 games this season. So Noah Kane and Armani Goodwin and Josh Williams we have already seen in the backfield tonight.
They're going to roll those guys. Going to be by committee. Running back room that looks very different than it did under Les Miles, say 10 years ago. They have to get better at that position, but for the most part, they're pretty excited about the guys they have and how they're going to fit into this offense.
2nd and 8. Daniels. Flag is down as he extends to the near side and then is able to connect with Jared Jenkins. Michael Vandervelt heads up this Big 12 officiating crew.
Guessing they're going to get a hold on the end of the line of scrimmage. I'm guessing it's Cole Taylor who's trying to secure the edge and gets beat around the edge.
There are 2 fouls on the play, both on the offense. Ineligible player downfield, number 52, offense. That penalty is declined. Holding, number 87, offense. That penalty will be enforced at the previous spot. Still 2nd down.
Cole Taylor got himself mixed up with Jared Verse, who's a dynamic, speedy edge rusher. Transfer from the FCS school, SUNY Albany. And that's the first LSU penalty tonight. And there is Verse.
Verse is going to be good, man. 3 years of eligibility left, but he was a receiver, and he's got unbelievable athleticism. He has a great motor. He's a workout warrior, and during COVID, he just locked himself, and it's according to the coaches, he locked himself in his garage and came out 40 pounds heavier and just got super strong, so very under-recruited, but now potentially going to become a star in Tallahassee.
2nd and 18. Daniels gets free again. And he's able to stiff arm his way to the 34-yard line, going up against the corner, Renardo Green. So that's 11 yards made up for. It'll be 3rd down and 7.
And you're just going to see the seed apart. I mean, everything just parts right here. There's no contain. There's a huge void. You got man coverage downfield, so guys' eyes are on the guys that they're covering. They're on the wide receivers, which allows plenty of room to get Daniels out in open space to make it 3rd and more manageable.
3rd and 7. 1-3 on 3rd down tonight. Daniels looking right, comes back, trying to find an option. The option, his legs, as he dives ahead, and based on that effort, it'll be a 1st down, Tigers. Adam Fuller, the defensive coordinator for Florida State. He was so concerned with the matchup with the wide receivers. How about Daniels' feet being a concern here?
Yeah, a great job, too, by just finding that void on the left-hand side. Similar to the play before, Florida State just kind of loses track of where the quarterback's at, over-pursues, and he extends the drive yet again. That's a huge conversion after the holding call on 2nd down.
There's a high snap, and Daniels makes this out of it. So remember, Garrett Dellinger, his first time playing center, he had the bad snap of a loss of 14 yards when it was down at the goal line, and now this that Daniels is able to secure. 8 yards on that play.
Man, really, really high. That's tough on the quarterback. Not only was it high, it's high and hot. That's the worst. Usually those get tipped up or they go off your helmet. And it's a good athletic catch there by Jaden Daniels, but every quarterback will tell you, we got the best hands on the team.
Of course you would
to catch 100 passes a day in the shotgun. 2nd
and 2. Inside they go to Jenkins, and Jenkins will have a 1st down at the 11-yard line. So here comes LSU after Florida State had the flea flicker and the big strike. They're marching right down the field.
At some point, they got to get Kayshon Boutte going. He hasn't really had any opportunities, and Florida State's done a really good job of bracketing him. So what does that mean LSU need to do? Mike Denbrock needs to move him into the slot. That's exactly what he's going to do right here. Move him in the slot where he's a lot more difficult to cover in double coverage, and see if you can't create a matchup for him in the red zone.
They're going to take a timeout. Boutte, just one target, doesn't have a catch. Can he come up big in this spot? When we return, we find out.
The Allstate Louisiana Kickoff on ABC is brought to you by Xfinity. Unbeatable internet made to do anything so you can do anything.
And former stars who are now here as Saints in this building. Jameis Winston, Jarvis Landry. Good to see Jameis down there at field level. There he is, enjoying himself. Seeing if that Knowles defense can come up with something here. There's an all-time great work done. Running back from the 90s for the Knowles, one of the all-time good guys in the sport.
I'm glad Jameis getting another chance to be a starter, man. I really am. I hope it works out here in New Orleans. I know they're going to have a pretty good team this year.
Off the Florida State timeout. Daniels straight ahead. Good pursuit and then driven back. Form tackle that time by Renardo Green. Bend, wrap, lift, drive. Football 101.
And those hurt so bad, too, as a quarterback. You got to pop up. I mean, you do because everybody's looking. You got to pop up, but when you just get slammed, it just takes the wind out of your sails.
Every youth football coach across America right now is saying, yes, that's the drill tomorrow.
That's clinic reel right
That is
there.
clinic stuff right there. 2nd and 8. Williams, not much there, driven back by Fabian Lovett. Fabian Lovett, who started his career at Mississippi State. And he has been an outspoken leader at Florida State, especially in the offseason. Said a lot of people in the recent past, they weren't doing their job. It's all about the details. Every detail matters to Fabian Lovett. And there is a different attitude in this program right now. You can sense it when you're around them. 3rd down and 6.
3rd down situation. I'm looking in the direction of the All-American, Kayshon Boutte, right here on the end of the screen. Looks like they're going to double cover him, though, again.
A lot of movement. And the flag reigns in. Remember, Kayshon doesn't have a catch tonight.
False start, number 61. Offense, 5-yard penalty. Still 3rd down.
It's the right tackle, Cameron Wire, who was part of that revolving door at left tackle we saw a lot on the LSU line a year ago. That is the 11th start of his career. Believe it or not, that's the most on this offensive line.
That's a killer there. Making this 3rd down a whole lot more difficult on a condensed field. And again, look in the direction of number 7. He's your guy. Get him on the move and avoid the double coverage.
3rd down and 11 for Jaden Daniels. He looked to the inside to Boutte, but comes up empty.
It was a pretty good throw. As you can see, he attacks outward on the angle, and he timed it up pretty quickly. The ball might have been right behind him. No, that's a perfect throw. Boutte sees the safety, and he's thinking, oh, this ain't coming to me. He doesn't even hardly run his route with great effort. Next thing you know, it's right in his chest, exactly where it needs to be. That's a play your All-American has to make.
So Ramos, who was a non-scholarship player last year, that is blocked. He had made earlier, and now Jared Verse and the group up front come in on special teams, and they get the block. The 6'4" star player who everybody wanted from the FCS school in upstate New York, SUNY Albany, makes an impact right away.
Just a massive void there on the left side. Cam Wire, 61, he blocked out. Someone blocked down. Verse came right through to make a huge play for the Seminoles.
LSU got down to the Florida State 8-yard line. Then they had the false start, the incomplete pass, and then the blocked field goal, and it stays 7-3 Florida State on top of the Tigers. As Travis will take it himself and get to the 22-yard line. Tackle made by Greg Penn.
Jaden Daniels and this LSU offense has 2 drives now stalling as soon as they get inside the 5. Florida State's done a really good job of, I think, mixing up the looks, making it difficult on LSU, but LSU has definitely shot themselves in the foot with some unforced errors as they're knocking on the door of the end zone.
Fakes the quick pitch. Travis wants to go over the middle. That was nearly intercepted. That was dangerous as Major Burns was trying to get to it. It'll go for an incomplete pass, and it's 3rd and 8.
That was strange there as he's trying to work McDonald over the middle. McDonald just kind of gave up on the route. Not on the same page with the quarterback. Big down here for LSU's defense. Haven't had many opportunities to get off the field. They have struggled on third down up to this point. Let's see if they can pin their ears back and come after the athletic quarterback.
3rd and 8. Knowles are 5 of 6 on third down. They've been doing their job in these spots. 4-man rush. Travis gets free for a moment, goes right to the sticks and gets it complete. And it's Pokey Wilson who had the touchdown earlier. So they are 5 for their last 5 on third down.
An excellent job of extending the play there by Travis and allowing Pokey Wilson to come back to him in the scramble drill. Textbook stuff right there from the Seminole offense. I think too here, if you're Florida State, no need to be in a hurry. You can play a little 4-minute offense. So if you can wind that clock a little bit as we approach halftime.
So Alex Atkins and Mike Norvell. First down to a Philly. Not much there. Just 1 yard before he is pushed back by everybody on the inside, including Greg Penn again. Remember Mason Smith, who everybody at LSU felt would be the breakout star of the defensive line. He left the game earlier tonight with an apparent injury to his left leg. And it came by way of celebrating, just jumping up. So a non-contact injury. So he's out there. You see Quaylen Roy, Wingo, Ojolari, and Gay. They do have depth and talent at the defensive line. And that group now facing Jordan Travis with a 2nd and 8. They show A-gap pressure, picked up for the moment as they run into it with Trey Benson trying to spin for extra yardage. And as he gets to the 37-yard line, Wingo had the tackle.
It's like clockwork. 2nd and long, hand it off. Every single time, with the exception of the flea flicker over the top that resulted in a touchdown. Huge tendency there for Florida State's offense.
Timeout, LSU. 3.5 minutes until halftime. Next week, Saturday Night Football presented by Capital One is USC and Stanford. Comes your way 7:30 Eastern, 4:30 Pacific, right here on ABC. Bourbon Street. A few blocks away from here at the Dome. We've got a good one between the Noles and the Tigers. 3rd down and 4 for Florida State. Jordan Travis wants to go for more than 4 and trying to get it to Pokey Wilson, but it is incomplete. So they take a shot on 3rd and 4 after they had 5 straight conversions. Bernard Converse had the coverage on Pokey Wilson.
That was a great job by Bernard Converse, just forcing the receiver to the sideline, understanding where he's at on the field. As a receiver, if you're running vertical, they say hold the red line. The red line is 5 yards on every practice field, 5 yards off the sideline. You have to give the quarterback room to make the throw. The defender there did a great job of eliminating it. It had to be an absolutely picture-perfect throw for it to become a completion, which it wasn't. It's a great job there by the corner.
The big Aussie, Alex Mastromano, on to punt away. Malik Neighbors is going to call for the fair catch. A little bit of traffic, and he muffs it. And there's a mad scramble for the football. They're piling on down at the 16-yard line.
I think Florida State got it. It looked like, at least initially, at the bottom of the pile, they were the first one on top.
The sophomore receiver, punt returner, Malik Neighbors, misplayed it, and the Noles are pointing that way. And it is. As Wyatt Rector, who's a special teams ace, former quarterback at Western Michigan, comes up with it.
And just a little bit low for Malik Neighbors, but how about Wyatt Rector? He's about the only Florida State Seminole at the bottom of that pile. Look at it, pops out, he jumps down there, and then there's about 6, it looks like, LSU guys trying to rip at it. He just holds on for dear life. What a huge mistake by the Tigers, and what a great opportunity for the Seminoles offense.
16-yard line. This could be served on a silver platter right before halftime for the Noles. Ward spins for 2 yards. So what potential costly mistake in special teams? And the special teams unit for Florida State, coached by John Papuchis, who's already seen a blocked field goal and now this effort to get the ball.
Second and long, the MO so far in this ball game has been handed off. Make it third and manageable. Will they keep up with that tendency? It's looking like it right now with the numbers on the right side of the offensive line.
Pressure on Travis, gets it out of the backfield to Ward. And Ward just tiptoeing the sideline, tried to cut back in, but it'll be third and short.
You can see LSU right there saying, hey man, you're not going to run it on us again. We're heating you up. It's a great job there by Mike Norvell, sensing pressure and calling a little bit of a screen. It's a really nice too execution by Travis to buy time and to deliver an accurate football.
Third and 1. Travis struggled to get back to the line of scrimmage. No gain there. Major Burns was active on the inside.
Be interesting to see if you're Mike Norvell, do you take the points? Man, it's a long 2 yards to me. Might try to go hard count, draw him off sides, see if he can get a freebie. This is a bold call here. The third-year head coach.
39 straight red zone trips with success. Fourth down and 2.
I would definitely try a hard count for sure. See if I can't draw him off sides.
They snap it. Fourth and 2 to the end zone. Incomplete. He was looking for Pittman. Risk reward has risk first. And they didn't get the reward. Sage Ryan with the coverage.
And the longest scoring streak in America comes to a close here in New Orleans. Pretty good throw, and one that honestly Pittman's got to make that play. I mean, it's perfectly thrown to the back shoulder. Pretty good coverage by Sage Ryan. But that's arguably your best receiver, and he's got to make that play in a one-on-one matchup in a critical down and distance.
Greg, you get the ball at the 16-yard line off of a turnover in special teams. You've had 39 straight successful red zone trips, longest active streak in the nation. You come away with nothing. What do you make of the call?
I have no problem with the call whatsoever. You just got stuffed on third and short when you tried to run the football. So I'm fine going to the air, especially if you can find a favorable one-on-one. I just thought it was a lack of execution, really more than anything else.
LSU is going to use a timeout, and with that, again, we will say hello to Kevin.
Tess, thank you so much. Dish halftime report just minutes away. Kevin Nagani alongside Booger McFarland and Dan Mullen, famous FSU alum, off to a great start. Not the kind of start for Brian Kelly, but he just got a gift there. Was that the right call by FSU?
No, you got to take the points there if you're Mike Norvell. If you're Brian Kelly, at some point you got to get these wide receivers the football.
I like the way, though, Florida State's playing right now. Mike Norvell in year 3 has this team playing with energy. They're doing the little things the right way. I would have gotten the ball to start the second half. Would have loved the points, though, and try to double score there.
Road game in that environment. Back to you, Tess and Greg.
We spent some good time with this coaching staff this week of Florida State, and I know they don't come up with it right there, but things have changed just in terms of their expectations and their belief.
They're playing like a different team. I mean, I've had Florida State in the opener 4 straight years, and it's been very impressive to spend time around the program over the last couple days. They are really excited about this year's team.
Dane Daniels goes to Cole Taylor, and he said, understanding the expectation of leadership, and when you have a quarterback who understands he's the leader all off season, it pays off.
Well, and they saw the fruits of their labor last year too. I mean, they were sitting there at a crossroads, 0-4. They basically scrapped everything and said, hey, this is what we're going to do. We're starting fresh. We're starting from scratch. And they played much better down the stretch. So it's been a lot easier to convince the guys to do things the right way when they finally started to see some results.
Aiden Daniels on 2nd and 2. He's going to run ahead and get extra yardage for LSU. They have exhausted their timeouts, but the clock will stop with 56 seconds remaining here in this first half.
And I like the aggressiveness too. Usually I wouldn't be a proponent of trying to put together a 2-minute operation when you're getting the ball at the 10-yard line. But knowing that you really have made so many mistakes, and if nothing else, it's high percentage plays, high percentage throws the last couple plays. That was a good run there by Daniels. Just try to get this offense into a rhythm so you can carry some momentum over into the next half, even if you don't score points here.
Daniels couldn't spin out of that. Jared Verse, the guy everybody wanted, and he said, I'm going to Florida State. He comes up big again. Their 3rd sack tonight.
And here he is right on the edge, and he just goes up and inside, being the true freshman who's going to be a great one in time in Will Campbell. But Jaden Daniels escaped so many times today, just couldn't do it there. And you wonder, can you make the jump from the FCS to the FBS? Jared Verse so far with a blocked field goal and a sack. I think the answer is yes.
When you got that kind of speed, quick twitch ability, you see these kind of results. As Daniels, as the final seconds count down here, goes to Malik Neighbors. Neighbors, who had the issue fielding the punt moments ago, but Florida State went for it on 4th down and came up empty. But still, they just look different and feel different, this Florida State team.
They most definitely do. It's been very impressive to watch their belief. And hey, if you're LSU, LSU has to be beside themselves with the opportunities that they've squandered. Inside the 10, having penalties, having bad snap, dropping a punt, and yet they're only down 4. I think LSU goes to the half feeling like, man, we couldn't have played worse, and yet we're still within striking distance. Florida State, on the other hand, made some plays, did a lot of really good things, but ultimately had a drive squandered in the red zone as well.
Here's the flea flicker, and Travis went downfield to Pokey Wilson. That is the lone touchdown of our first half. Some missed opportunities for LSU. And Katie is standing by with Mike Norvell.
Coach Norvell, you took some risks, some paid off, some didn't. How would you assess the energy and the physicality your team shown in that first half?
I think we're playing hard. We got to continue. We got to finish drives. We get opportunity to get down there. We've had some good, some bad. We got to definitely contain the quarterback here in the second half. But I like the effort that our guys are playing with. They're playing physical football.
What do you think about the special teams performance after that missed field goal?
No, that was big. I mean, anytime we keep points off the board, that's a game-changing play, and we got to carry it over to the second half and play 30 more minutes of Seminole football.
Thanks for the time.
Thanks so much for going on.
Defensive game here at the half. Jordan Travis does has 110 yards passing and that touchdown. The Dish halftime report is still to come after these messages.
By 4, what was your message?
We can't play any worse than that, I don't think. I mean, it's my first game. Maybe we can. Just poor execution. We got it. We made, our guys just understand that, you can't fumble the football on a punt like we did, though it was a good stop. We've had some, obviously miscues offensively where we've stalled drives. Couldn't get off the field on 3rd down. It's just, the guys just got to be free and go play and execute the way they're playing. And now we got to overcome a little adversity in the second half and grow as a football team.
Thanks for the time.
You're welcome.
So he says can't play any worse than that. They had the ball down to the Florida State 5-yard line on their opening drive. They had the ball down to the 8-yard line on a drive. They have 3 points.
Right. I mean, he's right. I mean, they had a lot of things going between the 20s. Problem is there's no passing attack right now, and basically everything they're doing offensively is through Jaden Daniels and basically him running off scramble drills. So they got to get more creative offensively too. I mean, I've been a little bit unimpressed with how they're currently trying to attack Florida State's defense. I want to see some bunches. I want to see some stacks. I want to see some motion. I want to see different formations. I want to see different personnel grouping. I mean, it's been kind of generic and it's been kind of vanilla. Let's see if they open it up a little bit here in the second half and get a little deeper into the playbook.
The longest play from scrimmage for LSU was when Daniels had that 25-yard run on their first play of the game. Florida State will get the ball to start the second half. Sam McCall on the return. Ball is upended near the 25. A look at the dome as aerial coverage is provided by Goodyear. Road tested, game ready. Are you ready for the road? Goodyear, more driven. This is the first of a 2-game neutral site series, right? They're playing here in Louisiana, and then they'll play in Orlando next year. Florida State and LSU.
So neutral. But that's why they do a home and home neutral.
Exactly. But I will say this, Florida State traveled incredibly well.
Yeah, they did.
To this. They sold their allotment of 30,000. They are vocal, and they are liking the way that scoreboard reads right now as Jordan Travis and Trayshawn Ward are back out there for the Noles. Travis going to pull it and get it out quickly to the edge to Pokey Wilson, who had the 39-yard touchdown. First half stats brought to you by LouisianaTravel.com.
And you see it's really right now, it's almost all Jaden Daniels for LSU. I mean, he is responsible for 118 of 119 yards. And then if you look at what they're doing, Florida State that is, they're doing a pretty good job of being balanced for the most part. And of course, they created a big play earlier.
Back to the top of your screen to Pokey Wilson.
The big key for Florida State so far has been their efficiency on third down. At one point, they had converted 5 in a row and converted nearly 67% of their third down opportunities. When you extend drives like that, it's terrific. It just, Mike Norvell has got to be really frustrated with their inability to put more points on the board given how efficient they've been on third down.
2nd down and 4. A-gap pressure gets picked up. They're going to run it with Ward, and Ward is going to have the first down. Trayshawn Ward, who led the ACC in yards per carry a year ago. Reminder that Clemson and Georgia Tech will be coming your way in the Chick-fil-A kickoff game from Atlanta. Number 4 team in the country in action tomorrow night, 8 Eastern on ESPN. And then College Football Countdown will get the night started at 7 o'clock. I like to tell everybody last year, what a bad season for Clemson. They were a 10-win team. They got tons of talent, one of the best defensive lines in the country. You get to see them tomorrow night.
What a terrible season. Win 6 in a row to finish up. One of the longest win streaks in America coming into this year.
Ward again was able to keep his balance for a few extra yards past midfield before he's brought down by Major Burns, who's been active in the middle of that LSU defense.
I think the ACC as a whole, even though there were a couple scares yesterday in the Carolinas, looks like FSU is an improved football team. Pitt weathered the storm on Thursday remarkably well. So I wonder just how wide that gap is between Clemson and everybody else in the ACC, because I don't think it's as wide as some of the outcomes yesterday might suggest.
2nd down and 6. Travis spins out of the play action, launches it downfield. There's coverage there, and it's incomplete. No flag on the play as he was looking for Micah Pittman, who was smothered by Colby Richardson. Katie.
Get a camera on him.
Oh. Yeah, guys, some unfortunate news. Mason Smith is out for the rest of the game after he injured that left knee in the first quarter. He is back on the sidelines in street clothes. Hopefully we can get you a shot of him being supportive of his teammates right now.
Mason Smith, who everybody in the SEC was pointing to as the guy who would be one of the breakout stars. And you can see tears streaming down his face.
Just heartbreaking, man. You work so hard and you're celebrating your teammate's success, and your night comes to an end early.
What an image that was. As they go to LT, and he will have the first down. So a Philly advances it on 3rd and 6 for another conversion before Major Burns gets the tackle. But to see that young man, the sophomore Louisiana native who had worked so hard, sitting there with his night over, who knows the long term, and he's crying on the sideline. The guy who Matt House, a defensive coordinator, said he reminds me of Aaron Donald when I coached him in Pitt, in terms of the kind of guy that never even wants to miss a rep. He wants every shot at practice alone. Travis stood up to that and throws it incomplete, and the flags rain in. That was B.J. Ojolari, who was coming in strong on Jordan Travis.
All right, they're going to have an illegal man downfield. And it might be the most illegal man downfield I've ever seen.
Ineligible player downfield, number 79. Offense, 5-yard penalty. Still first down.
You're going to see the right tackle, Jazz Turnentine, he basically goes out on a route. I mean, he's 10 yards downfield when the ball is thrown. He, of course, is filling in for the injured Bless Harris, transfer from South Carolina. They like him because of his big physical presence. Played in a lot of big games, and Mike Norvell felt very comfortable sliding him out to tackle, where he's gotten quite a bit of time playing against top-tier competition.
1st and 15. Span comes in motion. Pressure coming in. Travis escapes it. Scrambling, and then finally brought down by Mike Jones. Mike Jones, who was part of Clemson's college football playoff team in 2020 before transferring to LSU.
This is just really good timing here. As you see the layered pressure, gets the offensive lineman a little out of sync. The left guard will slide just inside long enough to allow Mike Jones to get around him and force Travis out of the backfield. Just really well timed the way they layered that pressure and made it difficult on the quarterback.
How many times we talk about defense being about hustle and effort? That's what Mike Jones just did, getting up off the turf to make that play. 2nd and 15. Travis against the grain and complete, and holding his ground was Wilson, and then surging ahead inside the 20. But when you're a 6'7", 235-pound receiver, you can do that.
And how about the catch? I mean, they were wondering, they said, how are Johnny Wilson's hands? Well, I'd say that's a pretty good catch. Ball's low, way out in front. Though 6'7", the catch radius to be able to extend even though the hit was coming. Just outstanding. No alligator arms there. Receiver felt the heat coming from the secondary defender, and he hung in there and weathered the storm.
24 yards on that play. Ward, as he makes his way to the 13-yard line. 8-yard run, tackled by Roy.
I really like the plan so far from Mike Norvell and Alex Atkins, the offensive brain trust there for the Seminoles. They're mixing run pass. They're changing the launch point for their quarterback, getting him out of the pocket, simplifying the reads. Just really, really nicely done so far.
10th play of the drive, 2nd and 3. Ward kept his footing, and he's going to be right at that line to gain. Jolari tried to make that tackle, but Ward was able to get free.
Gotta
get the first down.
Gotta think at this part of the field, continue to just lean on that LSU defensive line. This will be the 11th play of the drive. Just a beautiful start here from Florida State. 11th play of the drive. Push, lean. Let's see if you can't run it in here from inside the 10.
1st and goal. Travis with protection, with time to the end zone. Incomplete. Big Johnny Wilson was the target on the fade, but it'll be 2nd and goal.
Really good throw. Tight window. Little sluggo concept, a little slant and go, and one that Wilson has to bring in. I mean, it's going to be a tough catch, but you're playing against DVU. All right, obviously going to be a tough catch here in the red zone. You have to be able to reel that in and make a play for your quarterback. But beautiful touch shown there by Jordan Travis.
Second and goal. Benson get it to the 7-yard line. 3rd and goal from there. Allegay with the tackle.
This is the part of the field where you would just love to have a tight end. That's a matchup nightmare, but you don't have that guy. You do, however, have a 6'7" guy that looks an awful lot like a tight end. I would try to create a little bit of a mesh or a rub for him.
That's Wilson going up against Colby Richardson as you see that matchup. 6'7" against 6'1". Travis on 3rd and goal, pressure off the edge, goes to the end zone, and it's incomplete. It was a good play defensively by Garner. Ojulari off the edge.
Yeah, there was. It was a great defensive play. Just not enough air, but this was all made possible because of this right here. Slides down inside. You got a guy coming around the edge. He's way too late getting to it. They just had a bad protection call. You have your offensive line slide to the right. There's some type of miscommunication, or they misidentified the front. That should have been picked up because they were only rushing 4.
Short field goal by Fitzgerald will make it 10-3 Noles. They went 14 plays. They chewed up 6.5 minutes with that opening second half possession. Glad you're with us for the All-State Louisiana kickoff as part of Xfinity Kickoff Week. 10-3 Florida State. Some of the great scenes beyond just New Orleans and Bourbon Street throughout the state. I mean, the oysters. How good are the oysters? We actually had those the other day. And then the other night over at St. John, we had the oysters 3-way, poached in double cream.
Yeah, we ate our.
That wasn't rich at all.
We've eaten our weight in oysters and garlic the last few days, but I always love coming. The great state of Louisiana, just wonderful people, amazing hospitality. Just love coming here.
You know it's a good football weekend when you ask me, how do I eat these smothered turkey necks? Malik Neighbors on the return. As he's trying to find anything, tries to bounce it to the left and then is driven down at about the 23-yard line. A lot of people saying, where in the world is Kayshon Boutte and these receivers?
Yeah, and this sums up his first half. He's about to get the ball. He's frustrated. Look at the frustration. Clapping his hands. You can see it visibly. It leads over to the next play. He takes the play off. I mean, throws right at him. He's not looking at it, sees that safety, said, I'm not going to get it. So he barely runs his route. Him and Jaden Daniels then kind of ironing it out on the sideline. That's where you say, hey, man, I'm coming to you. You are going to be a factor in this game. I need you with me. Just trust me. We're going to find some things for you here in the second half. But they need to make him a priority and get him started.
2 targets, not a catch. All-American receiver. And now a tackle for loss. That is Tatum Bethune as he takes down Goodwin. Bethune is so active. He is just slicing and darting into that backfield.
There have been a couple of plays, too. That play particularly, where Bethune came off the edge and a few other guys came off the edge. He had Boutte on a slant. I mean, they're calling RPOs, but right now, Jaden Daniels is handing the ball off and hasn't really taken advantage of an occasionally good matchup.
Daniels on second down, pumps, and then goes downfield, and that's well overthrown Mason Taylor, the true freshman tight end from South Florida.
Just a miss right there. Jaden Daniels, a little amped up probably here in the second half. If you miss high, it's usually because you're gripping the ball just the tiniest bit too tight. He's been dangerous on third down with his legs. If I'm Florida State, I'm not going to come after the quarterback with too much aggression. Jaden Daniels has not been super accurate throwing it tonight, but he has carved them up on broken scramble drill plays. So if I'm Florida State, I do not overrush the quarterback because that's when big plays happen. Like there's a spy in the middle of the field too, where Deloach will likely be responsible for Jaden Daniels.
3rd and long. Daniels, flag is down. Could be a holding there on the right tackle as he goes to Brian Thomas on what was 3rd and 10. Edge rushers, whether it's Briggs or McClendon or the speedy Jared Verse.
Holding number 27, offense. That penalty is declined. 4th down.
They're going to get the running back who was in for pass protection, Josh Williams. The second 3 and out of the game for LSU and second punt coming.
And this is just bad design. All these guys are over here sliding to the left, which means your running back's responsible for the end man of the line scrimmage. The end man of the line scrimmage is a defensive end. You do not ever want a little guy, meaning a running back, blocking a defensive end. That right there was called because they anticipated pressure. Instead, Florida State opts to drop out. You have a terrible matchup in the pass rush, and it results in a holding penalty. Just really bad protection adjustment there from LSU.
Jay Bramlett, the Notre Dame transfer, to punt away, sends a knuckler downfield, and it goes out of bounds. And the Noles will have good field position. 10-3, upset-seeking Florida State. They've been enjoying Bourbon Street all weekend long. Back with more action from New Orleans. after this short break. 11 Eastern, Rafa Nadal against Francis Tiafoe tomorrow, and then 7 o'clock on ESPN2 with 4 hours of prime time. It's great to see Coco Gauff come from behind, second setter, to make it to her first U.S. Open quarter. That action continues tomorrow as we continue on here. 10-3 Florida State after the 31-yard punt by Jay Bramlett. So the Noles take over at their 43-yard line. Joe Tessitore, Greg McElroy, Katie George with you here in New Orleans. Jordan Travis just trying to make the most of it, and he does. Pokey Wilson. Boy, that thing looked like it could have been blown up right away as Wes Weeks was surging in. Travis had a spin free and then was able to get it to Wilson.
Good job here, as kind of was forced into pulling that one because of how quickly the defender arrived on the zone read. He made something out of nothing. Good awareness there, understanding where your outlet is by Travis.
Second and 7. Ward going to go off the right tackle, and he'll have another first down for the Noles. Their 15th of the night. Florida State has 15 first downs. LSU has 8.
This is shot down city for me. Fresh set of downs, just picked up a first down, been running the ball with good efficiency. I want to throw a deep ball here. See if I can't get behind the defense.
Travis with a man in his face and goes to the 6'7" target, but Johnny Wilson couldn't stay in.
Good extension there by Johnny Wilson, just also equally good by Mekhi Gardner. He's got a tough matchup there, just pushing him right out of bounds. Excellent job taking it away. The play was a little off schedule. I'm not sure if Johnny just had a difficult time getting release off that press, but it just looked a little out of rhythm there offensively.
Second and 10, 4-man pressure, downfield, and that is McDonald who couldn't come up with it. But he had that seam.
We're about a play early on our shot calls, so we're close, that's for sure. Week 1, really good job here. Excellent throw. Just got to be able to reel this one in. You have post-high safety coming over the top. You want to feed those seams on vertical concepts. Drops it right over the defender. That's one that his tight end absolutely has to bring in.
LSU crowd trying to support this defense on 3rd and 10. Empty look for Jordan Travis and the Noles. Shallow cross and a first down. Micah Pittman playing that slot well. And a good look from Jordan Travis. He has been at his best on 3rd down. They're now 8 of 12 converting 3rd downs for Mike Norvell.
This is a great pressure right here. These 3 guys are coming. It's looking like these guys aren't, but they come out. Instead, the pressure comes from the outside. Travis sees it immediately and hits his hot route, knowing he's got an unblocked defender coming off the right. Hits Pittman in space. He makes a play for him.
Travis, look at the time he has to the end zone. Incomplete. As Deuce Spann was the intended target. Garner had coverage.
Ball's just a little bit overthrown. Tried to fake a little speed option. I kind of like the wheel there by Benson coming up the seam, but well covered there by Mekhi Gardner, who's now, they've tested him about 3 or 4 times on this drive, it feels like.
Boy, they did have Benson on that near sideline on that wheel route, didn't they, Craig?
Yeah, I like that wheel. It just takes a long time for it to go. So as a quarterback, that clock is going off in your head. You got to cut it loose.
2nd and 10. Sprint left. Coming back to the ball was Pokey Wilson again. The 3rd and about 4 from there. 6-yard reception by Wilson.
Curious here too, is it 4-down territory. I mean, you've got a very makeable field goal at about 45 yards. Definitely makeable, but you can definitely opt to keep it on the ground too. I mean, I don't think there's anything that forces you to throw it here, knowing that if you get positive yardage, you got a decision to make.
They had a failed 4th down in the first half. They could have had points on the board. 7-point lead right now, under 4.5 to play in the 3rd. 3rd down and 3. Is LSU coming or backing off? They're coming. And he launches it. Flag is down as Pokey Wilson comes up with that. My oh my!
And this right here is what they bring pressure. You're going to see on the right side, Ollie Gay, number 11. That's targeting, ladies and gentlemen. It's a launch, upward thrust to the head or neck area of a defensive player.
Now, what's interesting is there's no doubt about that. 3 flags came in. 2 were in the backfield because of the targeting that we just showed you. But 1 flag's at the 3-yard line. Jarek Bernard-Converse was a defensive back who had coverage on Pokey Wilson, who made an outstanding catch. How about this young man and the confidence he now has, Jordan Travis.
There are fouls by both teams on the play. Pass interference, number 24, defense. That penalty is declined. Personal foul, roughing the passer with targeting, defense number 11. That penalty will be enforced on the succeeding kickoff. After the play is over, unsportsmanlike conduct, number 80, offense. That penalty will also be enforced, and that's number 80's first unsportsmanlike conduct foul of the game. Previous play for targeting is under further review.
Yes. Great catch there by Pokey Wilson. Unbelievable with the one hand being able to reel that in.
You clean up that big mess, and the bottom line is you got a touchdown for Florida State. And it's an incredible one by Pokey Wilson. His 2nd of the night, goes for 27 yards.
And LSU is about to lose one of their better edge defenders in Ollie Gay, the 5th-year senior. I don't know what he was thinking. I mean, that is as clear a targeting as it gets. Watch right here, slides inside, has, I mean, it's just, I mean, that's as clear as it gets. I mean, I don't know what else to say. I mean, that's crown of the helmet, head or neck area, launch. I mean, you name it, checks every box for targeting. So he's going to miss not just this week, but the first half of next week too. You just cannot make that mistake.
He has been ejected for the remainder of the game.
We're home against Southern next week for what it's worth. But keep in mind, they already are without their exceptional defensive tackle, Mason Smith, who had a freak injury early in this game. And now, Ollie Gay, the targeting call.
That's just a frustration play there. I mean, I don't really know how else to describe it. Just pure frustration. For about 1 second, you lose your cool, and now you're done for the better part for this game, obviously, and all of the first half of next week. So either way, beyond everything else, what a job by Jordan Travis. Incredible to stay in there looking down the barrel of a loaded gun. And how about the catch by Pokey Wilson? My goodness.
His 2nd big play of the game. This is 17-3 Florida State. Jordan Travis, who everybody says all the experiences he's had, the tough road he's had in college football. Now he smiles everywhere he goes. He stood up to that, launched it to the end zone, and Pokey Wilson rewarded him with that one right hand and another 7 on the board for the Noles. They're up 2 touchdowns.
In my life, I deserve 6 rings like a Mike.
You think there's going to be an interesting storyline on September 12th with Monday Night Football? Just a little one, like Russell Wilson returning to Seattle Broncos and Seahawks. And a big welcome to Joe Buck and Troy Aikman, gentlemen. Your Monday Night Football debut, the 53rd season. In the great tradition of Monday Night Football, 8 o'clock Eastern on ABC, ESPN, and of course, the app. The debut of Brian Kelly as the head coach of LSU, not going quite as planned, trailing by 2 touchdowns here in New Orleans. Malik Neighbors on the return. And excellent coverage again by Florida State. Katie, Jordan Travis is feeling pretty good, isn't he?
He is, and just in February, he was honored to be the best man in his older brother Devin's wedding. The only problem was he had to give the best man speech. Up until that point, Jordan Travis said public speaking was one of his greatest fears. But getting up in front of all those guests and delivering that speech was pivotal. It allowed him to get over that fear. He said he has no problem now addressing the entire locker room. He has a commanding presence in the huddle. He can talk with Coach Mike Norvell whenever he wants, which just shows you guys life experiences can shape the way you approach your sport.
Isn't that something? The guy says that giving the best man toast helped him grow in confidence. Meanwhile,
you play against 300-pound men every week, and you're scared to death of public speak.
Yeah, he can do this in front of 68,000 and 300-pound future NFL players, but the best man toast, well, good for him. I love it. I love the fact he shared that story with us. As that was incomplete, intended again for Kayshon Boutte, who does not have a catch tonight. The All-American wide receiver doesn't have a catch. He has 14 career touchdowns. And he's a dynamic playmaker, and he just can't get the ball.
It's crazy, man. He's dropping. He's just out of sync. Tigers need a spark back.
Daniels throws it well behind in the outside of Thomas. Flag is down at the 12-yard line.
They're probably going to get a late hit here.
Personal foul, roughing the passer, number 27. Defense, 15-yard penalty, automatic, first down.
That's Akeem Dent. He plays that buck position for Adam Fuller's Florida State defense.
Yeah, you just can't do it. You just got to hold up. I mean, it's unnecessary. I know. I mean, it wasn't an egregious roughing the passer. I honestly don't think it was that bad, and I think to a certain extent it might have been the tiniest bit sold there by Jaden Daniels. But either way, Akeem Dent's played a lot of football. He can't make that mistake right there. LSU's offense has been sputtering, and you just give them a freebie here to get their drive started.
Look at the total yards in the third quarter. Those long 2 drives of Florida State framed up against this effort from LSU. Can they make up for it here? No, again, Boutte can't come up with it, but the flag does come down as he was locked up with Jamie Robinson, the first-team All-ACC safety.
And it's going to be a pass interference against Jamie Robinson, and a good call.
Pass interference, number 10. Defense, 15-yard penalty, automatic, first down.
So that's now 30 yards of penalties to get this drive started. It's a good job of recognizing the matchup. It was a pretty good throw there by Daniels, too. But as you can see, I mean, just grabbing right arm. Jamie did turn around inside late, thought he might get away with it, but the back judge was having none of it. I think it was the correct call.
Florida State's 4th penalty of this second half. Kane takes it ahead, past midfield.
If I'm LSU, I want to get into some tempo. I just need something to get us going a little bit. I mean, if I'm Mike Denbrock, I'm not saying hyper speed tempo. I'm going to start to work into a bit of a rhythm, because right now it's just kind of lethargic. They don't really have anything going offensively.
2nd and 6. Daniels gets it complete and a little more from Lacey. And first down for the Tigers to the 34-yard line.
And you can see now those mistakes that Florida State made with the penalties. And here's your tempo. I like it.
First down, Daniels. And this time he goes to Neighbors, and now maybe that tempo gives them the rhythm they need. Another first down.
Yeah, there it goes. Get it going. Go tempo, tempo, tempo. Your offense is getting into a little bit of a rhythm. Sometimes you just gotta strike the match. It looks like that's what they're doing. I like the approach from Mike Denbrock.
Mike Denbrock, who was Luke Fickell's play caller at Cincinnati. Taylor. Jason Taylor's son, Mason Taylor, with the reception.
Sometimes, too, when you get into tempo, you force the defense into becoming a little bit more vanilla. Now, I mean, you see so many teams run tempo now. All these defenses, they can call anything in their playbook against tempo offense. But if they're kind of surprised with it, you're probably going to get more normal looks.
Daniels pulls it and then cuts and has it inside the 10. It will be 1st and goal LSU as Robinson came up with the tackle. But they have found something here with 2.5 minutes to play in the third.
Thing of beauty from Jamie Robinson here on the open field tackle. I mean, there is nobody in between the hashes. He's the only guy there. If he doesn't make that tackle, they're striking up the fight song for the LSU Tigers. So a great job by the all-ACC safety Jamie Robinson.
1st and goal. Kane straight ahead. They're trying to push that pile. And they are met at the 5-yard line. A gain of 3. It'll be 2nd and goal. Jarrett Jackson was involved in the tackle there. The big 300-pounder in the middle.
Yeah, if I'm this LSU offense, I'm challenging my offensive line. I got 3 guys up front. Dellinger's 320, Frazier's 323, Will Campbell on the left tackle, he's 325, 345 at right guard is Bradford. I'm challenging those guys, and I'm giving him 3 more downs to run the ball into the end zone. We've made too many mistakes down here, so let's be conservative and run the ball right at him. That's what I would do if I was Mike Denbrock.
See what they come up with on 2nd and goal. Kane straight ahead, as you suggested, as he leans inside the 2-yard line, tackled by Akeem Dent.
Do it again.
3rd and goal.
2 more times. Challenge the offensive line. Say, we decided to go with you guys as the starting 5 because you're big and you're physical. Now you get 2 opportunities to show it. Now it's going to be up to Florida State to be low. You got to be low along the defensive line and not allow that surge.
Does Denbrock stay that way with the play call? 3rd and goal. Straight ahead, diving for looks like they're marking him short. You see the near sideline judge on this Big 12 crew coming in and immediately marking it. Inches away, straight to the line. Here we go. Gotta have it. They blew the whistle before the snap.
Prior to the snap, the previous play is under further review.
Wow. If they didn't review it, it would have been a touchdown, and BK is hot.
Wow. I mean, I don't blame him for being furious. Now you give a defense, in case he is short, you give a defense time to regroup, you give a defense time to relax and kind of catch their breath. That is pivotal right there.
And I don't think it was hard to see.
No.
Look at the left elbow. Look at the mark. The line judge came right in, said you're short, looked like the right call, was the right call. You take away the advantage of tempo, the advantage of momentum.
It's terrible. You just can't whistle that dead. And the offense is at the line of scrimmage. You can't whistle it dead. So now Florida State gets to regroup, maybe put some fresh bodies in there, give everyone a slug of water. And hey, boys, let's go up and rally.
Let's bring in our rules expert, Matt Austin. What did you think of that?
Guys, I understand everything you're saying, but the other side of the equation is if he had scored a touchdown because they got a late view and you didn't stop the game, and then LSU fumbles the next snap and they lose yardage and give up the ball, that's why the replay guys got to stop this game.
And Matt, that's why we balanced the conversation with you.
It's correct. Like, I'm not saying it's wrong. It's just awful. I hate that for LSU. It's just, and you see it all the time. If it's an insignificant review, don't review it. But this is an impactful review, so I understand you have to do it. Just it's really unlucky for LSU.
The field stands as called. 4th down.
As we said it would. Stands as called. 4th down. A 4th down that Brian Kelly simply had his running back surge ahead for a touchdown. and thus the vitriol spewing from the LSU crowd. But they're back at it now.
Fresh bodies from Florida State, too.
That's right.
You've got big defensive tackles, Robert Cooper and Fabian Lovett. Will they be up to the challenge there in the middle of the defensive line? Because I think it's coming right at them.
4th and goal. Tight end shift, Kane in the backfield. And he's in. With 8 seconds to go in the 3rd quarter, the long drive for the Tigers pays off.
Just a really good job just collapsing this right side of the offensive line. They just collapse it and move some bodies, which leaves you one-on-one with a linebacker that really can't create any momentum. And as a result, Noah Cain's able to get just beneath Kalen DeLoach for the touchdown. Excellent drive there by LSU, finishing the drive after Florida State jump-started that possession with a couple penalties.
And we have ourselves now just a touchdown margin. That was a 10-play, 82-yard drive.
That was a gotta-have-it drive.
It really was.
It was. I mean, I know it's a 2-possession game, so plenty of time, but that was a gotta-have-it drive for the LSU offense. They had done nothing of significance in the 3rd quarter prior to that. And Florida State on their sideline has to be really frustrated because they had a positive 1st down play that resulted in an incompletion. Next thing you know, you give them a free set of downs by roughing the passer there by Akeem Dent. So Florida State's definitely looking themselves in the mirror saying, man, we gave them that by making mistakes.
Now for tonight's Aflac trivia question. We told you about the history between these two. This is the 10th all-time meeting. Of course, the great Bobby Bowden, legendary coach at Florida State. He was 7-1 all-time against LSU. So who's the only LSU coach who defeated Bobby Bowden?
I honestly have no idea.
Oh, I like that. That's a good question, then.
I mean, no one in the 90s, right? I mean, did Florida State ever lose in the 90s?
There's McCall on the return. Big hit on specials. Little bit of energy for LSU in the building now, Kevin.
Yes, reminding you we got some energy on the ESPN family of networks. Dodgers, Padres on ESPN. But how about this? U.S. Open. Kyrgios and Medvedev. The match has been spicy. Kyrgios can close out the #1 seed at the U.S. Open. He's serving for the match. That is on ESPN2. Back to you guys.
Thank you very much. Good action there at the U.S. Open. Been so many compelling matches throughout the Open. What a weekend it has been in college football. From all the drama we saw with Florida and Utah last night, and Ohio State, Notre Dame, the thrillers on Thursday night, to now this 7-point margin between the Noles and the Tigers. Keep it on the ground to close out this 3rd quarter. And look at that surge now from that defensive front. LSU went tempo. LSU went for it on 4th down. And LSU is right back in it. Florida State has played solid, tough, and they got themselves a 7-point lead as we head to the 4th quarter. The All-State Louisiana kickoff returns after this message and a word from our ABC station. Back here in New Orleans to start the 4th quarter. Joe Tessitore, Greg McElroy, Katie George with you. Aflac trivia answer. We asked you, hey, Bobby Bowden was 7-1 against LSU, so who's the LSU coach who defeated him? Greg says, I have no idea.
Literally no clue.
You're on the record with, I have no clue. Jerry Stovall back in 82. Who was a great running back at LSU back in the 60s. Went on to be a DB and special teamer, a punter, I believe, with the Cardinals. And then coached in the early 80s for his alma mater. Florida State back to business. Trayshawn Ward, look at him drag defenders with him that time as Mekhi Wingo at 295 pounds, was on a ride with the 5'2", 290-pound Trayshawn Ward.
I like Trayshawn Ward, man. I think he's so solid. He's just plays so much bigger than he is. He always seems to fall forward. He's a patient runner. Maybe not crazy breakaway speed. Man, he is one of 3 excellent running backs for the Florida State Seminoles.
And now it puts them in position for a 3rd and 2.
Little muddle huddle. Let's see. They do something a little interesting in the formation. There you go.
3rd down and 2. Quick pitch to a Philly, and it works out perfectly. They have shown so many different formations. They muddle it up, quickly get the ball to Toafili, and it works out. Hey, tomorrow we got Clemson and Georgia Tech. It's the Chick-fil-A kickoff game from Atlanta. Comes your way 8 Eastern on ESPN. College football countdown. We'll get your night started at 7 Eastern. Of course, many believe Clemson could be in great position this year. The bounce back from last year when that great run, 6 straight playoff appearances and a couple national championships, and all of a sudden what was termed a regression last year, and now back to business tomorrow night against Georgia Tech.
False start, number 79. Offense, 5-yard penalty. Still first down.
College football rankings are brought to you by Verbo.
And you see this. I mean, Notre Dame, I thought, actually did a lot of really nice things. But I think the big takeaway is the Pac-12. Utah. Is the Pac-12 done in regards to the college football playoff? I don't think that's a fair or a reasonable thing to say after week 1. But Florida looked really impressive last night.
1st and 15, they did. Jordan Travis. Cross, body to Pittman, and it works out. Pass midfield as Travis extended the play. Pittman stayed with it. And he completes it for 25 yards.
Just a great job by the offensive line. There's plenty of time. 4-man rush. Buy time. Escape, challenge. Get those defenders to commit and then deal it. Great job by Jordan Travis.
Now Benson trying to be patient, but he was first met by Garner, and then the rest came in with Greg Penn to help with the tackle. I feel like Jordan Travis is a different quarterback.
He
right
is.
Now. He's just a different quarterback.
He really is. And I really like this young man. I thought he played really well last year. And obviously it was a tricky spot last year. Things didn't go his way early on. But as the season went along, we got to remember he's still a relatively young player. But he's got a lot of potential. And he clearly looks a whole lot more confident, especially in the pass game now.
And learned a lot from Mackenzie Milton last year in terms of leadership, how to deal with the locker room. Jumps up in the air to get it downfield to Johnny Wilson. And that is complete inside the 30-yard line. So just extending, finding a way, jumps up to get it over the defensive line to Johnny Wilson.
How about that? I mean, usually when you throw a jump pass, it's going 5, 6, 7, 8 yards maybe. But how about this? Buy a little time, evade the rush, get vertical, and then boom, a little jump pass. And how about the catch, too, by Johnny Wilson? This has been a great response from Florida State.
Sure has. After that long, successful drive, they go with the end around. And this is Spann striding inside the 20-yard line. Good looking sequence for Florida State. Jay Ward finally pushed him out. But Deuce Spann with a 16-yard run. What a response from Mike Norvell's team.
Just how about this counter right here on the end around? So it's basically you have all these guys pulling and they're just counter-actioning. You fake it to the right and hand it off round back to the end with lead blockers in front.
Benson met at the line of scrimmage and then falls ahead for 2 yards. There were so many questions about this offensive line for Florida State, and everybody's saying what a distinct edge there would be with LSU's defensive line talent against this patchworked over the course of the offseason offensive line to get it going. But they have held up.
They've done a pretty good job. Obviously, you look at the numbers; they're not what you want. I mean, under 4 yards
people thought
carry,
this would be a huge mismatch.
Correct.
With those two units.
100%. But I think the creativity with how they've tried to get to plays and the protection. I mean, they've held up really nicely. And Jordan Travis, yeah, he's been sacked a couple times, but for the most part, they've been rock solid.
Giving him a chance like this inside the 5-yard line as he goes to Marquiston Douglas, the 270-pound tight end.
You got to think 2 downs here. I mean, you'd love to take the points here in the fourth quarter. Man, it's so close. I mean, You got to just try to pound it up inside, see if you can test that Tiger deep at the front.
10th play of the drive. Travis keeps it himself. Travis is able to go ahead for a first down. It's going to be 1st and goal, Florida State.
And this is such a big boy drive by Florida State. I mean, you make some mistakes. LSU finally gets on the board. This place is starting to go crazy in favor of the hometown Tigers. And boom, like clockwork, this Florida State offense has stayed in rhythm, and they've just methodically moved their way right down the field. Just really, really impressive response.
DJ Lundy, the linebacker, is in the backfield. He comes in to play fullback every so often. That puts Ward in the direct snap. And he gets it to the 1-yard line. So the linebacker, DJ Lundy, coming in to play offense as they go with the direct snap to Trayshawn Ward.
This is big time for Florida State, man. I mean, program that really for the last few years just felt so shaky, you know, just never really on stable footing. But my goodness, I mean, this drive right here shows just how far they've come and just how mature this group has become as well.
Now they're going to go I formation with Lundy as the traditional fullback. And they give it to him. And he scores! DJ Lundy, the redshirt sophomore linebacker who had 11 tackles last year against Clemson, comes up with a crucial touchdown here against LSU.
Right up over the top, too. Pretty good initial surge by LSU, but Lundy goes vertical and finds pay dirt. That's called a bone right there. You put a defensive guy in at fullback. Every once in a while, you got to give him a bone. Right there, he got it and turned it into 6.
And look at the reaction on the Florida State bench when Lundy gets in on offense and does that. And the head buried for LSU fans. The Noles have been building, growing, believing, and they're showing it here in New Orleans tonight. Back to a 2-touchdown lead for Mike Norvell and Florida State. That 24-10. This season, All-State's going to celebrate every field goal and extra point made by participating in universities, by making a donation to the university's General Scholarship Fund. Thank you, All-State. DJ Lundy just had a 1-yard touchdown run for the Noles. You know, when he was back in high school, Irwin County back in Georgia had 174 yards rushing in the state title game. All-around great athlete, won 3 state titles in wrestling, was undefeated 36-0 as a high school wrestler. He is a do-it-all athlete. Just came in at fullback and scored for the Noles, and now he's out there on special teams. LSU trailing by 14 with 9 minutes to play here in New Orleans. Quick break, and we'll be right back to it. Unbeatable Performance is brought to you by Xfinity.
How about Jared Verse? Takes advantage of a busted protection to block the field goal. That wasn't all. He wasn't done. He beats the true freshman Will Campbell inside. And right as Jaden Daniels is trying to escape, Verse drops him. I don't think there's going to be much of an issue with him transitioning to the highest levels.
No.
He's going to be just fine coming up from Albany to now play against some of the best in the land. He's right at home.
Jaden Daniels, the new LSU quarterback, gets it quickly to Dre Jenkins. And what a road it's been, Katie, for Verse.
Yeah, it really has. He said after he got the call from Adam Fuller, he was like a little kid running around telling everyone, "You're never going to believe who just called me. You're never going to believe it. Florida State called." And even with the struggles of the last few years, he said not a factor. You know, this brand matters, the notoriety, the recognition, the history. It still garners so much respect, and I want to be a part of it.
This is a young man who was playing off of Western Avenue in upstate New York at the State University of Albany. And an assistant coach there, the O-line coach named Nate Byam, found him. Next thing you know, Florida State was watching some Syracuse tape. Albany was playing Syracuse. They said, who is this guy? He's the best player on the field.
Who's this defensive end chasing down Sean Tucker? Like, who is that guy, and why is he not playing for us?
3rd and 1. As Kane, good hard run for LSU. First down, Tigers. So here's what they saw. They were scouting Syracuse, and meanwhile, this defensive end for Albany is going nuts.
Yeah, I mean, he's unbelievable. I mean, just tracking guys down, instinctive, athletic. I mean, just the way he can run is off the charts.
Back to business here as quickly they get it to Jack Besh. As Besh goes ahead for 6 yards.
Just goes to show you, man, there's just so many great players that, especially now, I mean, with how many guys are being added in the portal, still so many sleepers out there. Diamonds in the rough, and clearly Florida State found one with Jared Verse.
Boy, at what point do you create some urgency here? We're under 8 minutes to go. You're trailing by 2 touchdowns, 2nd and 5.
This drive's too important to waste a play, though, so you have to make sure you have the correct play call. So even if it takes a little more time, it's not a problem yet.
Daniels couldn't get it over to Noah Kane.
Right there, Jaden Daniels, he tucks the ball trying to run. I mean, like, stay in a passing posture. I mean, keep the ball, no matter what, 2 hands on the ball always, especially when there's defenders around, but don't ever tuck it, not when you're still in the pocket. He tucked it, and as a result, didn't have the ball ready to deliver, rushed it, and was inaccurate with the throw. Always be ready to throw when you're on the move behind the line of scrimmage in the pocket.
How many times you see that combine drill where they're doing that, somebody's sweeping at them with a broom. And here is Thomas as he works his way to that line to gain, and it will be a first down for LSU as he was able to get past Renardo Green. Brian Thomas with a good play. 5-yard reception. 7.5 minutes counting down here. Goodwin.
This is kind of crazy too. I mean, this is a critical moment of the game, critical drive, and there's no Kayshon Boutte. He hasn't been in the last few snaps.
Doesn't have
rolling with the other guys. He's been on the sideline.
Florida State defensive lineman is down. We'll take a short break. Back here in New Orleans, where aerial coverage is provided by Goodyear, celebrating the challenge of road games everywhere. Are you ready for the road? Goodyear, more driven. And are you ready to see Caleb Williams next week on Saturday Night Football, presented by Capital One, number 14 USC? Take it on Stanford. Coverage begins at 7:30 Eastern, 4:30 Pacific on ABC. Star quarterback had 249 yards and 2 touchdowns and 68 rushing in a blowout of Rice yesterday. 2nd and 6. Jaden Daniels, transfer quarterback. His first start at LSU. Verse nearly got him. Daniels escapes, and Daniels slides. Let's see where they spot him based on where he began that slide and his back end hit. They're going tempo here, so it'll be 3rd and short. Right to the line, and met in the backfield as Goodwin couldn't get any traction. Verse was involved, as was Robert, Cooper, and Deloach.
Just a great job there by Verse, going right around the freshman tight end Mason Taylor.
Well, here's a 4th and 2 with 6 minutes to play, trailing by 2 touchdowns.
I feel like you got to go with some type of run-pass option for Jaden Daniels. Roll him out to the right. Get him moving. Give him the freedom to get it with his legs if nothing's there in the passing game.
Kalen Deloach, the linebacker for Florida State, is still down on a knee. But Jaden Daniels' slide that then had a 3rd and short, and then came the surge from Florida State. But again, Daniels could have either strided it out or dove ahead, gotten the first down in that spot.
It's tough to know exactly how far away you are. It's a good job. You see the safety who's really baiting Daniels into throwing it. So he instead pulls it down, tries to get something out of it. You're right, just slid a little bit too early to pick up the first down. It's hard to fault him there. Self-preservation is important,
of course,
unless the game is completely on the line, or you're at the goal line, or you know exactly where you're at as far as the line to gain. He had no idea exactly how far he was to, whether or not he was going to convert that first down on the run.
6'3", 200-pound quarterback for Brian Kelly at LSU, was a huge recruit coming out of Southern California for Herm Edwards at Arizona State, then transfers, wins this job for LSU. 4th and 2. And he's going to throw for it on 4th and 2, and he gets it, and that is Kayshon Boutte's first catch. The All-American receiver gets his first catch with 5.5 minutes to play in the game.
Yeah, and a great job, too. They recognize that it's going to be man coverage. When you see the defender running with the motion man, that indicates man coverage. So as soon as Kayshon Boutte crosses the center, he's got a ton of leverage, easy throw, and a great call there by Mike Denbrock.
Daniels gets it out quickly and gets it complete down to the 28-yard line to Mason Taylor, the freshman.
Of course, time is starting to become of the essence. 2-score game. Got to have a touchdown, but as we approach the 5-minute mark, a little bit quicker, a little more urgency if you're LSU offensively, knowing that you certainly don't want to run 4-minute offense on yourself.
2nd and 6. Kayshon Boutte in motion. Motion's back out. Daniels with protection, with time, pumps, looks at his options, and then incomplete. That's a drop by Kayshon Boutte. Akeem Dent came in defensively. It'll be 3rd down and 6. Nice play by Dent at the end there.
I mean, he went to the right place, but he was about 4 seconds too late. I mean, Boutte is wide open, crossing in the middle of the field. And Jaden Daniels doesn't get there. I mean, watch. I mean, look at it. There's nobody here in the middle of the field. I mean, he's got a ton of room. Get it to number 7 right there. He might score a touchdown. And instead, Jaden doesn't see him, takes forever, and it results in an incompletion. That's what's on the quarterback.
They're 5 of 10 on 3rd down. This is 3rd and 6, and they're going to get it. And that is Jaray Jenkins. And they're looking for him to really step up, be a little more consistent this year. And he comes up big there, so it's a first down for LSU. But that clock continues to tick down, and that scoreboard reads a 14-point deficit. 14th play of this gotta-have-it drive. Incomplete, out of the backfield, looking for Kane.
Good response there by Jaden Daniels on the 3rd down throw. That was an accurate throw on the slant and a good catch. And then that one, way off the mark and way too much velocity to his running back. You can see the inconsistencies, almost play to play with Jaden Daniels.
Second and 10. Here they go. Jenkins strides it in. 4:07 to play. And it's back to a possession game. Jaray Jenkins with the 22-yard touchdown catch.
This is a great job. You're just clearing out right here, coming across underneath, piece of cake. You got a spy right now. Tatum Bethune's covering man-to-man. There's nobody there for Jenkins as he crosses over the middle of the field. And similar play that they just missed Boutte on a second ago. They find Jenkins and he turns it into a touchdown.
Just had the sense that it would be two programs who have to answer so many questions, who want to answer so many questions. And now LSU has 4 minutes and 7 seconds to prove. Some doubts to go. Florida State's still up a touchdown.
The Allstate Louisiana Kickoff on ABC is brought to you by Allstate, reminding you that football season is mayhem. And Louisiana Office of Tourism. Visit louisianatravel.com.
That guy right there is going to be a problem. Florida quarterback Anthony Richardson, the big win against number 7 Utah last night. You need to have Billy Napier on your Always College Football podcast. They are something different now.
They are. I would love to have them on Always College Football. That'd be awesome.
Prime time against Kentucky next week. We got Will Levis against Anthony Richardson, 2 big-bodied quarterbacks that I think NFL scouts are going to be drooling over. That was quite a performance last night. Right now, LSU's hoping to have a defensive performance to give them a chance in the last 4 minutes and 7 seconds after they just closed it to a touchdown margin. Let's check out the Capital One rewarding performance, Greg.
How could it not be Jordan Travis? He's done it all tonight, ladies and gentlemen. Been accurate on the move. Very, very good in keeping his eyes downfield and allowing guys to uncover. How about this throw off the flea flicker? Fluttered just a hair, but Pokey made it work. And then standing in there, knowing that you're about to get absolutely destroyed by a defensive lineman and dropping it in the bucket there in the back of the end zone. Just an outstanding performance from him. You can see the growth and maturation that he's experienced throughout the offseason, and it's certainly come to the forefront throughout the course of this game. Unsportsmanlike too on the kickoff, huh?
Yes, an unsportsmanlike conduct against LSU on the kickoff. So Florida State is all of a sudden going to have this drive start out at the 40-yard line.
Florida State has done a pretty good job of establishing and controlling the line of scrimmage. Remember, LSU is without Mason Smith, the All-American candidate at nose tackle. He got hurt early in this game, and they're also without Ollie Gay, 2 starting defensive linemen in a critical drive for the defense.
Ward on the ground. There's not much there as B.J. Ojolari was tracking it down. Let's go back and show you the unsportsmanlike penalty.
Let's take a look right there in the middle. I mean, what are you doing? That's about as dumb as it gets. Got to be honest, I don't know if I would have called penalty though either, to be completely frank.
True freshman Harold Perkins.
Little mix-up there at the end of the game. I would have kept my flag in the pocket there.
Second and 9. 3 minutes, 20 seconds to play. End around span. Can't find much. It's going to run clock. 4-minute offense here. Ojolari again. And Major Burns getting to the ball carrier. Coming up on under 3 minutes to go here, but it'll be 3rd down.
This is where you could throw it, obviously, but with how they've run the football, I'd be kind of hesitant to do that. The defense has played pretty well, and you can pin LSU really deep in their own end by just running it. So I'd run the football here, knowing that they've had some opportunities to move those Tiger defensive linemen off the ball.
It's been 11 of 15 on 3rd downs tonight. This is a big one. 3rd and 5. Jordan Travis. Backed up. Ojolari's tracking him. And he has to throw it away. So 2:25 to play. And LSU going to try to find a little magic late here in New Orleans.
Drive there by LSU's defensive line. Great job by B.J. Ojolari. Right there, if you're the quarterback, nothing's there, I'm taking the sack. That way, you're taking more time off the clock. The incompletion saves you a couple yards of field position, but the time is far more important than those couple yards.
First 3 and out for Florida State tonight. LSU defense did their job when they had to do it. Fair catch is muffed again. Can you believe this? Malik Neighbors, second time tonight, and Florida State recovers. Brendan Gant on special teams gets the ball.
there. But if I'm LSU's defense right now, as you can see, Malik Neighbors, a guy they're so excited about. You can't advance, by the way. You cannot advance a muff punt.
Just the recovery.
It's dead immediately. If I'm LSU's defense, I'm letting them score a touchdown right now. Let them score a touchdown. That way you get the ball back on offense with about 2 minutes and 10 seconds. You can put a drive together, potentially have an onside kick, and get a chance to potentially heave one into the end zone. So if I'm LSU, I'm letting them score immediately.
That is absolutely brutal. Trayshawn Ward wiggles his way to the 4-yard line. They did everything they had to do in the last few minutes, from offensively managing the drive to getting the touchdown to earning the first 3 and out defensively. And then there have only been 2 turnovers tonight, and they are both muff punts by Malik Neighbors.
That's just the story of the night. I mean, in week 1, games are often given away, mistakes made that lead to the other team ultimately winning the game. I mean, you think about how many games we saw this weekend that were decided by a big mistake late. This is another example of one. Things you got to clean up in special teams.
2nd and goal, Ward. And he's down to that 1-inch line. You said, listen, just I'm better off.
I don't understand. I mean, they've wasted. If the result's going to be a touchdown either way, I want my offense on the field down 2 scores. Yeah, I don't want to be down 2 scores, but I want my offense on the field. And they didn't even call a timeout.
And now LSU's going to use a timeout.
So it's going to become a 2-possession game inevitably. Who cares whether it's
timeout or the time is more valuable?
I agree. So I would have let them score on the first down play. Next thing you know, you get the ball back 2-10. Down 31-17 with an operation to run 2-minute drill and then potentially get an onside kick. So I think this has been a little bit of mismanagement from LSU as far as just playing the percentages and playing the offense.
Greg, yesterday we were sitting there. We went over to the Florida State team hotel, sat in a conference room, and after all the talks with the 2 coordinators and the head coach, all of a sudden John Kabuchis walks in, special teams coordinator. Had a great conversation with him. And at the end of that conversation, Greg, he turns to us and he says, take a look around college football and see what happens in week 1. You'll see sloppy special teams. You'll see special teams unit that didn't get enough work in fall camp. Right. You'll see mistakes that can cost you the game.
Well, just
2 muff punts here.
Just less time to spend on it. And muffing a punt, that's not for a lack of time work to spend catching punts. It's just one of those crazy things that always fumble
here down at the goal line. Is there a chance LSU has come up with it as Ward fumbled the ball? LSU says they have it. Wow. LSU does! The Tigers needed a miracle there, and they just got one.
Well, that puts a dagger in the let them score theory, but what is Florida State doing? Pitching the ball on the goal line. Only bad can happen there. Worst case scenario, you get stopped. And next thing you know, they have to run another play. You burn more time. You force them to cause timeout. Instead, you pitch it. I mean, only bad things can happen there. You cannot pitch it on the goal line. You cannot do it.
Florida State's first turnover of the night. Try to get a look at who got it down this pile.
Just a crazy mistake there. Pitch was off the mark. As you can see, number 92, it looked like Mekhi Wingo was the guy that was in the best position to recover it. And now LSU has a chance after the critical error.
But it's going to take 99 yards. It was Mekhi Wingo who's being credited with the recovery. Defensive tackle who's in for Mason Smith, who was injured earlier tonight. 99 yards away. Here's the slant to Neighbors. 2 timeouts remain for LSU.
Get Neighbors back in the game. Just made a critical mistake. Feed him. You might need him on this drive, so get him a look early.
Shallow cross right back to him to the 15-yard line, but look at that clock. 59 seconds as it stops to move the chains. Cooper had the tackle.
2 timeouts. Don't need to panic just yet. Nothing crazy. Can't do this. Can't line in the wrong formation. That's killing really valuable time.
Down to 50 seconds. Daniels being pursued. Now he's going to run. 2 timeouts remaining. He's going to get the first down, so that helps. That'll stop as they move the chains again with 41 seconds, trailing by a touchdown. 2 timeouts remain.
You know, as a quarterback here, looks like they are going to use one of those 2 timeouts right now. About the 40-second mark with 2 timeouts, it's about when you start to roll on those. I think it was the correct call, especially if your quarterback maybe just the tiniest bit gassed after that quick run. You need him to be really accurate. So I think it's a good timeout here. They'll have 1 remaining with plenty of time to work the sidelines and get some of their guys in space.
Trying to overcome a double-digit deficit. Well, it's happened here before for LSU, but it was one of the most talented teams to ever play college football. National championship with Joey B. and that group, January 13th, 2020. 45-25 was a dominant performance 965 days ago, and what a soap opera it has been since then.
This is a situation here. It looks like you're going to get man coverage. Looks like Florida State's going to drop and try to cover underneath.
Daniels searching for anything and is able to get it to Kayshon Boutte.
Right now, Florida State playing man coverage really across the board with safeties over the top. Can't obviously let any wide receiver get behind the deepest defender. I think you got to get up there and disrupt the rhythm just a little bit. I mean, you're just going to give up out routes for 15-yard gains. I mean, they're going to go right down the field and have a few shots at the end zone.
1 timeout remains. They've made it up to the 42-yard line, started at the 1. Daniels again gets it quickly out. This isn't going to generate much, although, how about that? Toe tap by Brian Thomas down the sideline. That was impressive body control by Thomas.
Now you're in plus territory. If I'm Adam Fuller, the defensive coordinator, I'm thinking I got to mix it up a little bit. They're giving way too much freedom to the boundary. They're giving way too much freedom to the sideline. They need to protect the sideline because that's obviously where LSU's trying to get.
Daniels, 28 seconds. Oh, and he's sacked. They do have the 1 timeout, as is Jared Verse doing damage again. Now, all timeouts exhausted. 24 ticks of the clock remain.
This can't happen if you're LSU's offensive line. You have 3 guys rushing and 6 guys protecting. You cannot get beat outside. The right tackle cannot get beat outside. You got help inside. Your guards are in there. Overset, if anything else, and funnel that pass rusher inside to where your boy Anthony Bradford can help you out. You cannot get beat around the edge in a 2-minute drill against the 3-man rush. Just really poor set there by the right tackle, Cam Wire. And now as a costly sack, because not just because of the yardage, but now you are out of timeouts. So this would be an opportunity if you're LSU, remind everybody of your clock operation, meaning if you get a first down, immediately up to the line of scrimmage to clock the football. Spike it to stop the clock. So you got to remind them about these situations, especially here in week 1.
Game 1, new staff, new quarterback, a lot of transfers. Can they do it? 25 seconds to find out. Jaden Daniels. They drop 8 against him. 3-man rush, taking a lot of time, and now running with it. They don't have any timeouts. Has to get the first down. He does. Dives ahead inside the 30.
Now you clock it.
Now they wait for the chains.
Clock it, and you got a couple shots at the end zone.
And they do. So they clock it there. 13 seconds. The clock has to stop there, as they will reset that. There is also an injured player for Florida State. That is Fabian Lovett, the exceptional defensive tackle.
Game clock to 14 seconds, please. 14.
And of course, they will reset that clock to 14 seconds. No need for the surrender Cobra just yet, my man. We got 14 seconds to play, and something may be brewing here in New Orleans. Well, this is something, isn't it? On a night when the All-American receiver, Kayshon Boutte, only has 2 catches for 20 yards. And now it comes down to Jaden Daniels trying to come up with something. Where are you looking to go here? Ball to 29-yard line, 14 seconds to play.
Obviously, biggest thing, you cannot take a sack. That's number one. That's the first thing that's going through your head. No matter what, ball has to come out. All right, that's the first thing you're thinking about from a quarterback's perspective. Second thing I'm thinking about, how do we get a situation where I can use the guys that we have with height and length? Because in this part of the field, it's going to be contested catch situations. I want the guys that are taller that can potentially go vertical to make a play on the ball. So I think in this spot, you're looking in the direction of the 6'4" Brian Thomas. You're looking in the direction of the 6'2" Dre Jenkins.
Get it complete right at the stick to Brian Thomas. That'll stop it with 10 seconds to go. What drama here in New Orleans. What a weekend of college football it's been, and this is how we're going to cap Sunday night.
Bringing
nothing coming easy in the Big Easy for these two. Right down to the wire.
Mason Taylor, the freshman tight end, 6'4", more length on the field now for the Tigers, and they're going to help out their tackle with the pass rush.
Here we go. Clock ticking down. Daniels taking time. Remember, no timeouts. Here is the freshman inside the 5. 1 second remains. And remember the clocking rule. There's 1 second remaining. You got to get right on it. He went out of bounds. 1 second is perfect. Here we go, Greg. We're going to decide it right here, right now.
Yeah, you got to call timeout if you're Florida State. They had 3 defensive linemen on the field, and they had about, looked like 15 defensive backs. They're undersized for a goal line situation, so you have to call timeout to make sure you have the proper personnel on the field, because LSU would have run it right down their throat there.
Let's go back to the 17-yarder for Mason Taylor, who was able to get out of bounds here.
And a good job. You see, they kind of lose him as he protects initially. And there he is. I mean, nothing but green grass, but Florida State will give that up because of how much time it takes and how unlikely he is to get to the end zone.
Watch the clock as he just gets out right there. And you see them wave the end of that reception.
Look at his eyes, too. As soon as he goes out, look where his eyes go.
Out. All right, easy to stand in, Greg.
Too close. Eyes go up immediately. How much time? Looks up at the scoreboard immediately. So he was close. He got out.
Watch that left knee.
Barely.
So when I was calling it live, I thought perhaps that knee hit there.
Tough to tell.
Florida State is challenging that the runner was out of bounds. Previous play is under review.
To the live eye, I thought the knee was down inbounds. They stopped the clock, say he went out of bounds, so the call is being challenged, and Brian Kelly is getting the explanation. But, I mean, take a look at that left leg, the knee down to the shin. Does it hit the turf? Is he in or is he out?
Either way, because of the amount of time that they'll have right now, it's close. Yeah, that left knee is out. So it does look like this will be potentially, the clock will start on the ready for play.
Let's bring in our rules expert, the veteran referee, Matt Austin. Matt?
All right, I agree with you guys that the knee is down in bounds. So what you have now is the replay booth is going to come back and create a running clock. So
you get to the line of scrimmage immediately, knowing, hey, as soon as they wind it, and we used to say, hey, as soon as the whistle blows, that's like saying set hut in the cadence. So you hear the whistle, the ball's snapped, and it comes down to the final play.
Matt, by rule, does 1 second allow them, or are they going to put 2 seconds here? I think it could be 2 seconds based on the way the clock looked when that left leg hit.
Well, it doesn't matter. You have to have 3 seconds to run or to be able to clock the ball.
Be able to clock is 3 seconds, correct. They're
Yes,
gonna
right.
snap.
So 1 or 2, you can snap it.
Look at that left leg. That is Mason Taylor. Mason Taylor's son, who arrived this summer and impressed everybody. And talking to Brian Kelly about him. He said, listen, I've got 7 tight ends who are active in the NFL. He's as good as any freshman tight end I've had. Incredible to think
this
drive has gone, isn't it? The drive that started at the 1-yard line when Florida State was putting the game away, and they decided to pitch the ball at the 1-yard line, and that was the fumble. And now here we are, 10 plays, 97 yards. Time to get to work.
This is where, like you said, you talk about it, the official. I mean, LSU's already over the ball, and the replay is still under the replay. The official is still ready to rock and roll down there.
Big 12 officiating crew. Fitting end to this Sunday nighter for the kind of college football opening weekend it has been. This group can talk to the command center back in Dallas, and that is what we are told they are doing. Ten plays, 97 yards. They started on the LSU 1-yard line. And then the 17-yard reception to Mason Taylor, where he was ruled down out of bounds, stopping the clock. But to the eye and to the replay, it appears that that left leg was down in bounds. How much are you enjoying college football?
I love it so much. Why is it so crazy every year?
Isn't it?
The offseason, everyone talks about how bad it is, how it's never going to be the same, and then we kick it off week 1 and everything's great. It's like just what an unbelievable weekend, and what a way to cap it here on a Sunday night.
And my man, a year ago tonight, we had craziness. We had Notre Dame, Florida State, with Mackenzie Milton, the big rally that went to overtime. That was another thriller that came down to the final moments. Matt Austin, our rules expert, says that they can line it up. I asked the question of if the knee's down, obviously move the chains. You get that moment of pause. Greg, you say by rule you get to snap right away. Got to go right away because it starts again.
We used to always say, like I said, the whistle is your cadence. As soon as you hear that whistle, ball's in the air, and the play will be run.
Matt, let's bring some clarity to it. Matt Austin, our rules expert.
I think the question that the replay booth is struggling with now is, does this carry a 10-second subtraction?
Right.
When the replay booth creates a running clock in the last minute, it is subject to a 10-second subtraction. They did get the first down, however.
After reviewing the play, the runner was down in bounds for a first down. By rule, the clock will stop. LSU will have time for one play.
All right.
Well, isn't this fun? Because they earn the first down, the line of game, they get one play, they get 1 second, and here's your one moment to be a hero, Jaden Daniels. One second. They were trailing by 2 touchdowns. A miracle turnover that started this drive on the 1-yard line. And now this. Will Brian Kelly have a chance for overtime and a win in his LSU debut? Or will it be a signature win for the Noles? And a timeout is going to be used by Florida State. Joe Tessitore and the former national championship winning quarterback Greg McElroy with you here in New Orleans. All right, let's get into play calling here. You've watched how they've gone about this 97-yard drive, 10 plays, We've seen them down inside the 10-yard line earlier tonight and having some limited success and some regrettable moments. What are you going with here?
Well, you're going with your 2-point plays first and foremost. It's one play to win it. You got your 2-point list that you practiced all week. That's what you're going with right here. I think it's disappointing for LSU that they're on the right hash with a right-handed quarterback. In a perfect world, I'd love to be able to move the quarterback to his throwing hand and work it in that direction. That would be my play call. Similar to the play call that Clemson called that they threw it to Hunter Renfrow to win the national championship. That's the best play in this type of situation. Sprint right, speed option, and just throw it right out there in the flat off a mesh or a pick.
Let's decide it. Right here in New Orleans, Jaden Daniels to the end zone. Got it! Jermaine Jenkins! My, oh my, what a night, New Orleans! He had a kick blocked earlier tonight. His first college action to send us to overtime. It's blocked! It is blocked! It is blocked! This sport. How great is college football? You couldn't write that script. 99 yards, pure drama. Replay had to clear it up. 1 second left, LSU got it. And then Damian Ramos has it blocked. And that is how Florida State wins it. Let's hear how happy this coach is, Katie.
Well, he's got his eyes closed and he's sighing in relief, excitement. Take me through what you're feeling after watching that unfold.
Oh, just incredible. I mean, we talked about it, all week. This could come down to one play, and that's what it is. That's what it is. Right? It didn't go the way we wanted. It was not the way we wanted to end the game, but at the end, we still had one more play, and those guys did an unbelievable job being able to get pressure, blocking their second kick of the game. I mean, just incredible effort. So proud of our team to be able to come, hear our fans, and we're incredible today. Just it's a special moment for this team, and we needed a win like that, and we're so proud of them.
A season ago, you would have ended up on the wrong side of that. Why were you able to get it done tonight?
We talked about our guys and their heart. I mean, what they've invested, the work they put in, it's not always going to be pretty. I thought we physically did a phenomenal job throughout the course of the game. But we got to do a better job in how we finish. But ultimately, it came down to one play, and our guys rose up because of the heart they have, the character they have, and they made that play.
You've been grinding for the last 2 seasons. This is year 3. They have stuck with you. They believe in what you are preaching. What does this mean to you to see them get to experience this moment?
Well, I mean, it's, when you work, when you believe, when you pour into each other, it's special things can happen. And I've seen these guys just get better. We're still at the beginning of our journey. That's it. I mean, we talked about it before the game, but this was an opportunity on a grand stage to show the heart and the identity of this team. They never let up, and they found a way at the end to get one more play.
Congratulations, enjoy.
Thank you so much, and go Noles.
Jared Jackson, the 6'6" defensive tackle, got in and blocked the extra point to win the game. This program has been through turmoil. It has experienced the unacceptable lowest lows for what is such a blue blood, proud power program. Tonight they played with heart.
A lot of people up there. Oh, it looked like it was Shaheem Brown or Jarrett Jackson. It was difficult to really
Jackson
tell.
was in the middle. Brown was coming off the edge.
Yeah, he was. Just an unbelievable effort. Unbelievable effort to make the play. Incredible. Just absolutely incredible. The drama, it never fails.
Shaheem Brown off the edge. Jarrett Jackson up the middle. We'll take a closer look, see if we can properly ID it. And this is how the debut of Brian Kelly finishes up. And after 3 seasons of trying to take the brick-by-brick approach, Mike Norvell can celebrate a win like that.
Wow. That was guts. I mean, that's the way you sum it up. I mean, I don't know how else to describe it. Florida State, they've been on the wrong side of those for the last 5 or 6 years, it feels like. When things starts to slip away and it just snowballs into a terrible outcome. But this time, they said enough. Not today. They capitalized on every single mistake. Poor field goal protection for the second time. They get a tip on the extra point. And the only thing that's more puzzling than that, was there ever a moment in which Brian Kelly thought about potentially going for 2? You were borderline fortunate to even be in that situation. Do you steal it with your offense on the field? But either way, just an incredible performance by the Seminoles.
LSU did what they had to do to put themselves in position. They went 11 plays, 99 yards. And then that group on special teams, field goal block, does damage on the extra point. Shaheem Brown, Jarrett Jackson, and that special teams front seals it for the Noles. What a game! Reminder, Clemson, Georgia Tech, tomorrow night on ESPN. Opening weekend has been nothing but thrills and chills, and this one was wacky to the wire. For Katie George and Greg McElroy, I'm Joe Tessitore. Thanks so much for being with us tonight. Good night from New Orleans.
Monday.